It's not able. It's a pentakill.
Second, they'll find a second. Chippy is on an absolute tear right now.
I just had my bites of vanilla ice cream and I almost tasted something.
That must have been tough.
I can leave. Like,
Do you put spices or like salt and pepper
no,
on the
vanilla's a
vanilla to-
flavor, man.
We're still going on
Vanilla
this.
is a good
Get him!
flavor. It tastes like vanilla. It doesn't taste like nothing. I'm not just eating water or an ice cube. Anyone who dislikes vanilla just hasn't had good
No,
vanilla.
vanilla is really good.
That's
Well,
all I'm saying.
Maybe we can find out from the players what their favorite ice creams are and then we can break it down further. Either way, first team to start with Kanga versus
So
Bliss.
passionate.
We've got
Just open
Kanga.
up and flame you real quick.
Lots to talk about here, and again, I think we always see Mayfun and Fido being brought up in that conversation. That jungler mid lane seems to be the big focal point for Kanga.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yesterday, they switched it up, but still kept mid-jungle as the focal point. This is a team who I think have a lot in store, particularly in draft. They tend to opt for weirder picks, particularly towards that mid lane, and obviously with the jungle swap coming out here yesterday. But I think that as a team, if they get on what they're good at and what they're comfortable on, they can contest the best. Whether they can actually secure that is another question.
Yeah, I think the big thing for us is that we didn't really get to see the full efficacy of what that mid-jungle flip was meant to be because of how chaotic it was in those initial few moments, few levels. So when the early game goes as pear-shaped as that, you don't really truly understand, okay, why have they done this Jarvan Cassante flip? But either way, I think they are probably the team that have been left to cook the most this entire split. They've shown the most creative picks. I think a lot of that is going to stem once again from the fact that Fido will play your Akshan, your Tristan, and your mid-AP Varus, for example, right? So, look, I'm not too sure which way to swing with this one, Rusty. Whether or not do they go even more crazy, even more wild, or do you try and rein it in and say, let's try and play something a little bit more standard, even if it is Team Bliss?
I think what we did learn from Kanga is that Cassante is the reason they did their lane swaps, right? But it's not something that I expect that we'll see today up against a team like Bliss. Not with the pace with which Bliss play. I think you have to have best players in best champions in best roles, everything that makes a lot of sense. You also heard, you know, for this matchup from Benvi, who was formerly a player on Team Bliss in the first split, that one of the best things for Kanga to try and get that dub is to attack the bot lane through mid priority. So what you've seen of Bliss now they're on your screen as well is Arkia and Lemus just sharing that brain cell with their aggression, with their ability to engage. We've seen the Gragas into the Rel, you know, something that really only Bliss is doing right now. We also saw yesterday just a really nice team fighting from them. The setup, the execution, it's the vision that Bliss have. I think they're just a cut above most of the other teams right now in this league.
Which then speaks to the bot lane conversation again, I reckon, Max, because you're saying, okay, up against the Chiefs, we've always said double AP threats. Do you show that kind of same level of respect to Bliss and say, we don't feel like we can go toe-to-toe with you, so I do need to try and play for your Ziggs, your Seraphine, or something along those lines, and sort of hope that we have a little bit more of a, you know, a shot at having, you know, Jake unleashed to try and rotate and roam towards mid.
And I mean, I think creative is a great word to describe both Kanga and Bliss, because why not especially is one of those junglers you can look towards as possibly being the best jungler in the league, and he constantly runs circles around the enemy jungler. It's like he's playing chess, mate. He's always one step ahead, and I don't know what it is about him, but how is Why Not standing so far above the rest?
He just plays Maokai every game.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's what I've got.
Okay. Yep.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah, really good breakdown there.
No, seriously, at least from my take, is the fact that you look at Mayfun and he's obviously, I would say in some categories, second to Kevian, trying to be a carry jungler. Like he will definitely idle into tank and sort of hard engage when called upon, right? But I'll see him on a Graves, I'll see him on a Viego. He's up there doing big numbers. He's found up probably the most kills of any jungler. At the same time, though, it's that dicey game because you are going to have a whole bunch of deaths come in the process of it. So I don't say he's going to be up there with like the highest KP for a jungler, but I would say that he's definitely looking to try and be more of a carry, where I think compared to Why Not's very much like Maokai's open, Engage is open, I'll play that, I've got enough carries on my team.
Yeah, when you're playing with the best jungle support in the league, mid support in the league, it does make your job as a jungler really easy. That being said, he's still so good at targeting the places he needs to, right? We see him link with Arkia, that jungle support synergy, making the mid lane so easy for Daystar to play, particularly in their last series, getting him ahead on this Jace. So I think that he's a player who, yes, he's able to whip out those carries, but when he needs to take the backseat and first pick a Maokai, he's more than willing to.
I will say for Why Not as well, you know, having had conversations with him at DreamHack, having known Why Not, we all seen him in this scene for a couple of years now. I've never seen someone more motivated, more hungry, and more determined to be the best in every single aspect of jungling in League of Legends. So to see him have the team around him, but also to acknowledge that his pathing just seems like it is a cut above all these other junglers in our region, just shows how hungry they are to continue to improve, right? And that being top 2 wasn't enough for them. Making it to the PCS, being eliminated, wasn't enough for Bliss. They want to do so much more.
It feels like Arki and Lemus, they may just share one brain cell, and they gave the rest to Why Not. And it's, man, what you said, Rusty, seeing his passion and his motivation, it's infectious. It really is. You can see it in his eyes. You know when you watch movies and people talk about the sparkle or the twinkle in their eye? He's got that. He's got that. And someone else who I think has a twinkle in his eye is Jake, who we have down for an interview. G'day, mate.
G'day, how are you, boys?
How is it that you get the twinkle in your eye? Is it pancake that just brightens up your day?
It's a little secret. You might know this one, but it's actually the glasses. So it's a bit of like an artificial handsomeness adjuster.
Are they real glasses, or are they the blue light ones just for the aesthetic?
No, they're real ones. Yeah, funny story. I just thought like subtitles were always a little bit blurry for a while. And I quickly found out that wasn't after I did an eye test. So, yeah.
So actually a reason, unlike someone else on the
Yeah,
stage.
yeah.
Look, the blue light's harmful for you, man. You gotta block it out. Wait, when you say subtitles, are you someone who like you have to watch movies with the subtitles on?
My partner is, so yes, I guess I am as well.
Okay, now a bit back to the game. Obviously, you guys had a bit of an unfortunate series against Mammoth. I want to know what you guys took away from that and are hoping to apply today.
I don't know if there's too much we took away. I guess like it's kind of like the season's so short and it's like pretty much already finished. Especially like going back to back, like playing yesterday and then playing again today, we're kind of just trying to reset a bit. You know, game 1 was pretty decent and then things just got a bit out of hand in game 2. So kind of reset and then taking it as a fresh day. Yeah. Speaking
of things getting a bit out of hand, obviously the mid-jungle swap coming in. Can you talk to me a bit more about that, the decision behind that?
Yeah, it's just Mayfun's a really good Cassante, and Fido's got different strengths in the mid pool, like his Cassio, Akshan, everything like that. So yeah, we've tried it a bunch, and it wasn't something we just like randomly decided to go, you know, oh, let's have a bit of fun. We have been practicing it a bit, and it's just kind of something that'll keep people on their toes.
Okay, well, I'm going to stay on my toes. I'm excited to see if they pull it out again, and if it works. Thanks for coming to the interview, mate. Good luck for the game.
Nice. Cheers, guys.
So, jungle mid-switching, is that something we've only seen from Kanga, or have other teams tried to cook this up before?
We've seen switches before, but it's usually solo laners.
Yeah.
It's not often other roles.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like this might be the first instance of a jungle and a mid switching in a non-troll game.
Yeah, no, off the top of my head, I can't think of any, even back in the OPL days.
Yeah. Yeah, so just yes. I think it's just yes.
Thomas Sooner played AD carry. There you go. Did it first.
Oh, yeah. Trendsetter, mate.
Absolutely.
We have had odd subs in ADC roles, haven't we?
We have.
More
yeah.
than once we've had ADC sub in.
Yeah.
They never switched with their jungler, though.
No, not that extreme.
Is this talking trash about ADC? Is it the easiest role? Because jungle makes my head hurt, bro.
I wouldn't say it's the easiest role. I will say that for some reason, just pure coincidence, ADCs are the most often not there in all of our pro games and have to be subbed for the most.
Did it
That's
yourself,
all.
Max. You
That's
came in
all.
as a jungler.
I played jungle.
Right.
Yeah, that is a pretty easy role, to be honest. You sort of just hit your camps and then run when your team tells you, and that's all you have to do.
PvE. It's like you're not even playing the game, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Doombots, mate.
Much easier version of Doombots, yeah.
Well, we've got our favorite PvE player here on the line. Why not? What's up, man?
What's up? How you doing?
Yeah, hey, I'm really good, man. Is it hard just fighting jungle camps the whole game?
Oh, it can be difficult, man. They can hit back pretty hard. Pretty sure we saw a fatality last split with Babip and the Krugs.
Oh no.
We want to try and avoid those happening in future, but you know, like, as a jungler, it's just a part of the occupation.
Is another part of the occupation tweeting the exact same tweet every day and telling your opponents what you're going to play before you play it?
It scales, man. It scales, you know? Like, I saw it the first time, and it was like, you know, it was a mid. It was like, yeah, this tweet's like, it's kind of funny, it's kind of okay, but then you post it again, and it's like, it's the same thing. There's nothing different, but it's just progressively it's more humorous, I find. And if you disagree, then I don't tweet it for you, you know?
I absolutely agree.
On a bit more of a serious note, I know that you have such tactical advancement in your jungle pathing. I was curious, I remember you challenging a lot of people to a game of chess. Is that something that you use to set up your jungle pathing and play better?
I mean, I think games have a lot of overlap around all games, including, you know, board games, strategy games, between esports titles. Obviously, chess is a game about, you know, thinking ahead and leading to inevitable victory, right? If you find like a winning line, you have that winning line. And I think it can be very much the same in jungle, right? It's just the pieces are moving, and the pieces are also other people, you know, lanes and this kind of stuff. So I think it's all about being the right piece for your team and ensuring everything lines up so you can get the checkmate.
That was a beautiful answer. That
Magnus Carlsen.
That
for
was
League of Legends.
real nice. Speaking of your matchup today, coming in against a pretty unexpected mid jungle, can bring out some really random stuff. How do you guys go in preparing against them?
You say random stuff, sure, but does it win? You know, like they can lock whatever champions they want to lock, but are they gonna win? And we'll get the answer over the next few hours. I'm doubtful that it will succeed. You know, Gooby can lock Shaco, but does he win? I don't know. He's catching a stray there.
When you're
I'm not
gassing
too
him?
worried about. Oh, don't worry, Gooby Maokai, man. I mean, it did get a loss today, but you know, like for sure, it's enjoyable to watch. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to watch the VODs after if Kanga do lock something spicy, but I will be watching it knowing that they're gonna lose.
Okay, well, hey, good luck for your game. You got 2 to go, and let's see if maybe you can pull out a Shaco just for me, all right?
Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Why not 10 on the Bliss shop? Thank you, guys.
We should have cut the
Get him
interview
outta
5
here.
seconds
Get him
earlier.
outta here.
He always finds a way to get that one in.
He forgot, and then he's like, "Oh my god, I haven't said 1 or 10."
Brendan is hit.
Yeah.
Say it.
So don't forget, of course, if you've got some points left right now, chuck it down for the Dare fan vote. Good chance to rack up bigger numbers down the bottom of your Twitch chat.
Yeah, I wonder what the most. Does anyone know like what the most someone has is right now? Because
No.
when I wasn't casting, I did pretty well, and then I yelled it on like a 10 times when Mammoth was like, you know, old Mammoth,
Yeah.
and I lost it all. But I'd love to say, I reckon someone's got like a couple milli for sure.
Sure.
There has to be someone who can flex.
Yeah.
Like, big time on getting a couple of dubs in there.
Well, the secret is actually, if you wait just a little bit longer to put your points down, I think you get to see side select. And that way you can place your bets a little bit better.
You reckon side select
That
has
really,
an influence on
that
this one?
really changed things for me. that really alters my predictions for this game.
It says red side.
Yeah, they did pick red side actually, so that's interesting. I mean, their drafts on blue side have seemed so stock standard that I think this might be an opportunity for them to sort of expand their wings and not just lock in the Maokai Jace whenever they get it on blue. So perhaps giving themselves a bit more stage preparation for something that they're not as familiar with.
Yeah, for sure. I think perhaps a good way for them to try out some new drafts, give them a different idea as to, you know, final game's going to be up against Chiefs. Maybe not the strongest opponent to trial it in, but a stage game's a stage game in the day, so a good chance to see what they do.
Well, we do have our predictions as well, which we all laboriously thought about.
Oh, it was so hard.
Oh my god, wait, Max, you have more points than everyone else.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's a bit late.
Yes.
But, I mean, we are all in agreement that this will be a 2-0. I think that, for me, this is really, I know to steal your turn of phrase, a form check. For example, we saw the Chiefs 2-0 before. They looked pretty dominant, but at points that you could say there were weaknesses, and I think this is the same for Bliss. We're looking then to see how cleanly can they close this game out.
And it's kind of true for both matches today in the sense that, like, you have 7th and 7th that we're form checking to make top 6, and we have 1st and 1st form checking for playoff/finals, right? Like, Bliss won a 2-0 here, they want to lock in a top 2 position for themselves.
Yep.
But if they do that, they play against the Chiefs in week 6, and we get to find out who's actually first place, right? So it adds that extra dimension to us because we're also form checking while they're form checking themselves.
Form check just got
The
its
layers.
yearly
layers.
Mirrors
Oh
on
my
mirrors
God.
right now. We're in an elevator.
I'll check my brain, man. Dude, I can't keep up. Well, now is the perfect time to see how their form is. And the best way to do that, draft.
Or deadlifts. But
Or
we'll start with draft.
Push-ups. Or
You can form check push-ups
what other
if
kind
you
of
want it.
form do we want to check?
I mean, you're a gym goblin, mate, so you just keep naming exercises.
Look,
What's
I
that?
remember when I said, what did I say when Dracu did it? I was like,
Oh, you said he was dead. You said something, he was curling a chair. You said he was like benching it.
yes, a good bench. And everyone's like,
That's
Skibby.
a bicep curl.
That's wrong, mate. And never say it again.
What do you not go to the gym or something?
So I've never said it again. Well, that's neither here nor there. What is obviously very apparent is that Kanga will get 2 drafts on the blue side and a chance to showcase what a first pick priority will look like for them. Now, I'm really curious to see, given the fact that actually it looks like Bliss have just missed one of their bans here.
Yeah.
Is Cassiopeia actually just the go-to?
Looks like Shinky just going to hover a couple of Mayfarn champions. LeBlanc, yeah, wow, okay. LeBlanc up, LeBlanc picked.
Okay. Oh,
No
true.
hesitation.
The first time it's actually been playable.
Yeah, in a very long time.
On this entire patch, the first time it's up and available. I'm so locked into the Cassiopeia, we just forgot LeBlanc.
And who played it
exists.
last time? It was Daystar on Bliss, wasn't it? Before it was permanently banned. I think he was the last one.
That is crazy. And I've just got word from production that it's a visual glitch. Actually, the third ban was a Graves.
Oh, okay.
So they just said, you can have all the OP champions. We don't care.
Yeah, interesting. So they'll give over LeBlanc. They're not worried about it. You still got your Casantes, etc. up, but lived, I guess, with the preemptive Poppy here. Says, go ahead, lock that one in, Shinky, I dare you. But also, we learned yesterday about Kanga is that they don't play Casante unless it's Mayfun. I think he is the only person on this team that actually plays Casante, but he's their jungler.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's left open, untouched, I think it's just Bliss saying, I dare you. Like, we know you don't play it.
Yeah, it's a strong read, and it could certainly be one that hurts them here, as that many strong champions up and available. Exodia could certainly be reached by one of these squads, and the Gragas is going to be complemented here by the Viego, so they got themselves some isolation potential. The Casante comes out, it really is a freebie at this point. And we can see that can be certainly flexed pretty much anywhere. I mean, we don't really know where this Poppy or this Casante could be at any stage.
Yeah, I think exactly that, right? With Poppy being flexible into the jungle position, certainly does set the stage for a nice little 2-3 flex here from the side of Team Bliss. Daystar has been very good with the Casante if he locks that one in for himself. We also just simply have Maokai as a possibility, but the Jace was banned, right? So I think maybe the combo was gone. They were a little bit more dissuaded from having to just lock that one in for the millionth time in a row. So things are a little bit different here for Team Bliss in their draft.
Feels like he's got enough reps on stage, got that one locked on down, so time to experiment with something different. Hence why I guess the entire conversation stemmed around them playing two sides on the red draft.
I know the reason, and I'm not going to say it. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, he's got the leaks.
But the reason is more simple than we're speculating.
Oh, even simpler.
Yeah.
They just like the color red.
They
there
just
you go.
like the color red.
You heard it from Rusty
I
here
will
first.
confirm that.
Putting words in his mouth.
It's closer to pink than blue side.
Philios was denied away from the side of Bliss. It's going to be responded with a Nautilus ban, so it doesn't become too easy for the Kaiser to excel in the laning phase. Bliss are then going to say, all right, we'll ban away the Amelia as well. Make sure that things don't get too explosive if we were to play some kind of hard engage in the spot lane. So what is the response then from Kanga? Do they feel threatened that they need to ban something else along the same lines of a Nautilus?
Yeah, Milio ban kind of indicates that it's going to be a Leona or Nautilus type champion for Arceus, which makes a lot of sense. I think Leona certainly something that he looked very clean with yesterday. Also adds that layer of guaranteed engage for them, right? You just chuck down the Leona ultimate. If it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. If it does, you actually have the ability to follow up with the rest of your composition, because that's what Bliss have right now, really good follow-up for if that crowd control connects. So again, I think if I was Bliss at this point, you probably do put Lived on the Casante, why not on the Poppy, and then just pick some kind of strong mid lane champion into LeBlanc. And then, okay, mid Kaiser.
Exciting.
Yeah.
It's good.
We're going to switch it up, so it's going to be a strong AD.
We've been asking for such a long time, and basically expecting a double static shift matchup here at this point.
Yeah.
A case of who can scale up better and who can get more control of the mid lane.
I'm going to say that's a matchup that I'm not super familiar with, but I can imagine that there is ways for a Kaiser to play it out. You know, timing the distortion with your Void Seeker, right, can equalize some damage output a little bit, but there's definitely worlds where a LeBlanc and a Viego are just outright stronger in 2v2s.
For sure.
But it is a good scaling pick. It is a double static shift, like you mentioned, right, in mid lane, so just going to be wave clear, just going to be roaming.
Certainly is. The one that stands out to me the most is the fact that Renata actually gets banned away. It's a champion that's only been banned away once, not played at all, yet to see it really in action, so curious if that's something that they've learned from scrims that they are terrified of, but either way, you can get around at their composition with a Zarya Brom. And out comes the Soraka.
We have seen Arceus Soraka before, and from memory, it was not the best game. I would say, of my memory of Bliss games, that was maybe the worst one that we've seen from them so far.
Hard to stand out compared to when you're popping off on Pikes and Leonas, I suppose, but...
I just distinctly remember a level 3 run it down strat from Bliss in that game, and Soraka was a large part of that. It's his flash that stands out to me, but what I will say is that Soraka into LeBlanc is crippling for LeBlanc at times. You go in to try and use a distort combo, you're actually stuck fighting people, right?
Silenced, yeah.
Can't get yourself out to safety. Zaya may not be able to use the ultimate as well if they're not careful, might not even be able to recall the feathers after the ultimate depending on where you land. I think there's just a lot of difficulties there. And above all else, you've got a Draven and a Soraka against the Braum. So you have a Braum into a double ranged lane that can hard harass you, can make your life so difficult. And right now, Kanga playing mostly around their mid-jungle 2v2 and kind of transitioning that to side lanes.
Yeah.
Plays into exactly what you heard from Benvi in ways to win. But at the same time, those side lanes are tough.
They will be tough, and it's a question of have they given themselves enough of a strong avenue to perhaps, you know, unleash Jake on this Braum, to rotate to the mid, to perhaps influence that very volatile matchup with the double stacks you've used. Is that mid-jungle that you've already put into question strong enough to try and find themselves a lead? Well, we already touched on how strong Daystar was. Yesterday we looked at his stats first in basically every category, which certainly sets ourselves up for an explosive matchup when they do go up against the Chiefs. But at least for today, it's all about, can Fido be creative enough with all the OPs up and available? The Cassiopeias, the Azirs, the LeBlanc, the first time. He's got all the tools at his disposal, but can he use them?
I mean, this is, for me, if Kanga are going to win any game, it's the fact they've got Viego LeBlanc around their mid laner, right? It's the fact that they can use that mid lane to influence the side lanes. I think they have what they need to try and get this dub. A champion that has been banned 100% of the time on this patch. We saw it once, it dominated in the patch prior and was just gone from then on out. Bliss have thrown them a bone, but they've picked the Kai'Sa into it. So Bliss has some kind of answer, some kind of recipe that is there.
Yeah.
Very curious to see how this mid lane matchup plays out, but kill threat absolutely everywhere on Summoner's Rift.
And there certainly is, Rusty. Well, let's load ourselves in for our second best of two of the night. Same stakes as our series beforehand. For Bliss, it's all about, with a win here today, guaranteeing yourself a top 2 position. As for Kanga, a win would still put them in potential contention for a top 4. And you have a result, and they're fighting for scraps, that final spot here for playoffs.
Maybe I'm going to show the legacy emote there as well in the face of Why Not, who is very familiar with that one. The man of many jerseys. If you saw Why Not at DreamHack, I think he wore every possible jersey of a team that's no longer here. He was getting as creative as he possibly could.
Minions have spawned.
So far, though, it's going to be a pretty slow fan out. Very slow affair. A very common play that we're seeing from people right now, which still surprises me that we haven't seen sweepers just picked up, preempting the obvious play. But that ward will stay. And now I feel like the ball is in the court of Why Not, saying, how are you going to pass this one out? Poppy loves that Raptor camp. I think he's just going to have to sacrifice being visible on the map to clear out that camp super easily as we begin our lanes.
We certainly do. Lemus is a phenomenal Draven player, as is Voice to his credit. But Lemus is one of those that we were craving for such a long time, with the repetition he had from solo queue to make his debut. It took a while, but once it did happen, well, this is what we've been waiting for. So excited to see this one back in action again.
They're very much an unplayable lane for the Braum into Soraka. If you turn around, hit your concussive blows, you're trying to actually, you know, threaten a bit of damage. Soraka throws Q and hits the Star Call at the same time. She just heals, you take damage. You never win that trade. Zaya cannot 1v1 a Draven by going toe-to-toe or going to blows with auto attacks. And so Arkia gets to run the lane, right? There's just an absolute demon on a leash standing behind you if they step up too far. So you just get to command your presence right now, deny last hits, threaten at all times, make things difficult, just make money. You know, it's that 6-minute transform on your support item angle for Arkia as he harasses your health bar down. If you overstay your welcome, suddenly Draven kills you. So that's really the lane that Kanga are about to play through. Junglers getting involved is obviously going to be quite a factor. Why Not? They did see clear the Raptor camp, is now moving, however, from Raptors straight to the enemy red buff. Will be about 2 seconds too late, however.
I'm not sure if Mayfun spotted them. It might have been just a second late. He will obviously know now.
He didn't see the ward. I don't think Mayfun saw the ward that Why Not placed, so they just know he's here. They have complete tabs on where this Viego is. They could push bottom, they could move the Soraka with him. It seems like they are going to walk the long way instead. He doesn't flash smite, does he?
When they tried to steal it with a Star Call.
I feel like the temptation for Why Not to flash smite there was probably a little
We were
bit
all
too
kind of
high.
expecting it for a second, weren't we?
He has next flash, surely. You know, it's one of those, you're weighing up in your mind, is this worth it?
Hang on a minute though, Rusty. We're looking at a lot of damage in the mid lane right now. And it's going to be first blood found here by Phyto. somehow found themselves in such a dire situation. And Fido gets the ball rolling.
Yeah, I guess we have to ask the question on, was Daystar trying to zone Fido out of the red buff area? Positionally, that was a very odd place for the Kai'Sa to die. If I'm going to be spotted in bot lane, but Fido getting the solo kill in mid is crucial.
It's huge.
So big for this game. Spoke about it already, but in terms of that mid matchup, LeBlanc for sure has kill threat, let alone the 2v2 bringing Mayfan in. But to get that without the Ignite, what does Daystar do here that results in this play? Just steps up, just auto attacks, just wants to clear the creeps, tries to dodge the chains twice. And that's 2 extra auto attacks that Fido gets off for free in that as well. Chains connect, very nicely done from Fido. Good little mind game dub. Daystar dies for 3 ranged minions.
And right in the face of Why Not as well. He was right there to protect Daystar, potentially. Maybe a false sense of security knowing it could have been that 2v1, but Fido doesn't wave it. Hits the skill shot, gets the kill, and gets the ball rolling. Great start for them then. Checking in with the top lane as well. Shinky finds himself on the Gragas here, going into Liv, who's opted for much more of the hybrid I will carry, I will tank, I will be a menace in this regard. Not going to go for the more flashy style of gameplay like the Fura or the Jax, for instance. Since the champion's up and available, it would be rude not to take it. But knowing now how strong Fido is with that first blood, does that give Mayfan a little bit of extra breathing room as well?
The interesting thing about, like, is Fido strong because he has first blood, is this static shift build lends more towards just auto attack based damage. It's not going to be a one-hit type of build.
Not just yet.
So I guess it does, yeah, not yet. I guess it does bring into question, is Fido feeling strong enough? And I think the answer is experience-wise, he'll hit 6 faster. Just ticks over. Teleport already used as well from Daystar, so he's going to reset here and walk back. Cannon wave, so good timing to do so, but relatively speaking, I think Fido is the strongest he'll be until he gets that item spike in comparison to the Kai'Sa. Now that he's 6, he has a damage ult. Daystar needs to use his for a shield, just to disengage or for mobility to combo with his Poppy.
Did delay his initial purchase towards that static shiv as well, starting with Doran's blade into the coal, and he now picking up the shards, so certainly we'll be looking to try and hit them at similar times, but yeah, to your point, very big favourites, are they?
Diego hovering in mid lane there as well, hunting for that angle, looking for that opportunity. Mayfan just going to walk through. Bottom Scuttle Crab, I suppose, could be a point of contest, but if they see Fido recall, and they know that it's no longer going to be contested, they actually have members on the board faster. No teleport there from the LeBlanc. Bit of freedom to push around the map if they would like. Arkia now on board as well, so they will hold their hands and frolic through the river together. To a Drake.
Blue skies and tulips everywhere. Happy days. Arkia will turn his attention back towards the bot lane, just to remind them that he's in the area. Lemus will have double axes being juggled at the moment, so we'll be doing a ton of damage to this very first dragon. And with 4 members strong, there is 0 way that Kanga contests. Great start, nice and early. And back to bot lane to continue winning.
Daystar does tick over to level 6, now 7, so has some extra shielding. Arkia face checks.
That was really clever there by Mayfan, going to force out the flash from Arkia. Actually forced double summoners with the heal, not the barrier, most notably coming out from the Striker this time. As for a rogue face check, and Mayfan really finds the right moment to strike.
I feel like we can all acknowledge that Arkia, even if he is mechanically very good on this Soraka, is just a tank player. Right? It's just
not the same bread,
It's just so used to being tanky that little face checks like that may just happen here and there, right? It is a different brand of League of Legends from the support of Team Bliss. Has to respect and does get punished. Trades in mid, you're seeing fairly even for me. I think the reason is Daystar can go Hail of Blades, can try and cycle the W through with the auto attacks, and if LeBlanc ever pushes past her own minions to use the distortion, then the Q is isolated on just you.
Yeah.
So I think there is still decent damage trades overall, and this is one of those lanes in mid that I think you would simply quantify as volatile because they both do high damage trades. So everyone's just going to be half health in mid lane all the time.
Certainly one where if you make a mistake, then the other can definitely capitalize on it. The Bliss finding themselves the very first dragon. It is Kanga's turn to try and turn Really that attention elsewhere on the map. They looked at the very first Herald, but Fido completely bullied out. And Bliss with more members, more HP, can look to take it back.
Yeah, it seems like they will just be able to do this one. Looking at the reinforcements here from Kanga, it seems like there is zero emphasis put towards this one. Braum playing bot river. Maybe just seeing if he can control some vision to protect mid lane. Maybe even set up for a Viego to clear from top to bottom and then gank through the river instead. Seeing if they can open up some kind of avenue. Certainly is going to be a conceded Herald into a Herald summon. Honestly, anywhere on the map, mid lane still makes sense, but being able to free Daystar towards bottom, you know, and try and make a 4-man play down there certainly is a decent option for them. Okay.
Fido's just decided to go. He said, my jungler's in the area, we're going to go for the kill. Keep his verdict being lined up right now. Beautifully buffered by Mayfun. Goes in with a heartbreaker, but still searching for the reset. Finally gets it. And it will just be that 1-for-1. But mechanically, what a treat.
I mean, really nicely done from Mayfun. If he doesn't use the ultimate there to be unstoppable as Poppy throws hers out, then it's a 1-for-0. Then it is just a negative trade here. And Fido flashed to ensure that one happened. While he could afford the static shiv in base, flashes forwards, procs the Kier Chase shard on a minion prior to this as well. Not a lot going right there from the side of Kanga, except that ultimate from Mayfun just locks it down. The reinforcements get here, but the damage was done. Mid laners both just limping away. Time to think about it, the death chamber.
Certainly do, but I won't have much time to think about it as they will deploy straight back to lane. And it will be Fido that picks that one up first, given the difference in their build. They start, as mentioned already, delaying it a little bit with the early Dorans as well as the Cult. Wanting to spike a little bit later. Now with that static shiv online, certainly is going to free up LeBlanc to roam and try and assist elsewhere, given that the Herald is still in the hand here for Why Not?
All the vision going to be cleared out here by Kanga. No contest for the Drake for 1:15. Still plenty of time on the board. Neither top laner really had an influence in this game thus far, just duking it out with one another, getting those grass procs for Liv. Phase rush for Shinky as he's going this AP Gragas build. Does mean, of course, if he joins the fray for a skirmish at that one item spike, he does do some serious damage of the AP variety. Works nicely given that your mid laner is starting with a static shiv to compensate for that magic damage early. But overall, you know, for me, more than anything else here, Skimmy, I'm looking at a Draven with 113 CS and just thinking that ult, when that whirling death comes flying across the map,
It's going to do some big damage, much like the damage Liv has just done to Shinky in the top lane right there. Absolutely crushed him without utilizing flash. Keep his verdict on his head. Fido is going to limp away. One auto's not enough. There's the killer instinct. He held it for as long as he could. Why Not tanks the tower? Daystar has the escape plan. And they get themselves a second turret plate.
yeah, turret plate kill, everything just coming up correct here for Team Bliss. Kanga back to base in the bottom lane as well, so they're just winning across the board. Drake up in 2 seconds. Seems like river control belongs to Kanga, but more than that, you know, just steadily losing on that gold. Daystar needs to be careful not to face check now that he is ultless, but I think he does so much damage, they probably go even.
They're going to start things off here. Has no flash, has no ultimate, and he's actually just straight winning at the moment. In they go for the ultimate. The Soraka heal comes across as well. Make a wish, and you'll find a start. It's as easy as that.
Mayfun dies with a Trinity Force ready to be purchased. Fido dies with a static shiv ready to be purchased earlier in lane. They're just not fighting with their effective gold in the pockets of their players. It's just sitting in the bank unspent. And they just consistently get punished for it. Fido really low here. Gonna get a little bit of healing from Archeo, who comes mid, almost gets himself the Soraka solo bowler.
Imagine that, the drive by Soraka support gets it done for the team. Not to be the case here, but there's a few moments now where it does feel like the tempo's been lost here from Kanga.
Doesn't it feel like Why Not just getting everything done though? So proactive.
Very.
Keeps recognizing angles very quickly. He's there for mid. The Soraka ult was there for that mid skirmish. Braum ult used.
Nice, steadfast presence, going to deny that one. Shelly still managed to get the ultimate, or rather the headbutt off to confirm. Very low, but did go through eventually. And whilst there was a little bit of a scrap to escort that one in, everybody does survive.
Draven no mana. Does make it a little bit more difficult to follow that one through. No prospects of a dive to be seen, as our static Shiv abusers will simply clear the waves in mid. However, Daystar, having that little bit of extra ability power right now in his inventory, is able to one-hit those waves with the static Shiv bonus damage. Fido going to be a little bit of gold away from that one himself. And this is that point. We have, in front of our very own eyes, Skimmy, a Kai'Sa that is going to be an issue for Kanga. And an issue in multiple ways, because whenever you've seen mid Kai'Sa, you see that W that connected. Imagine that with the W evolve and 5 points in it. Then imagine a death cap afterwards.
Yep. I just remember when we had it as a meta for a little bit of time, and it was so frustrating. A cooldown so short, as long as it kept landing, mid lane just didn't exist. You couldn't hold, you couldn't defend structures. You got bullied out when the siege began.
This is 5 points Q into 3 points W right now, so Daystar is going for that max damage with the Void Seeker. Not yet, but that 2-item spike is going to be a pretty important part for Team Bliss's teamfight success. Because why bother teamfighting when Daystar can just do all of the damage prior? Not a lot of tanks there for the side of Kanga. Braum can put the door up and block some damage. It will be very useful into the Kai'Sa mid lane. We're very useful into the Draven as well.
Sure.
I think the Braum stocks are still super high. But how do they kill them? And how does Kanga actually deal with them? Sitting at that range, just dealing so much damage.
Well, certainly, when we talk about the word flanking, Bliss have been phenomenal at doing just that, the split. You would certainly want Kanga to be right up there doing the exact same with a Diego as well as a Gragas. Try and catch them off guard, to try and deny them from just poking them down. Right now, it's all about controlling this mid wave, and it's Fido versus 4. They'll summon another Herald. Why not, as you say, being so proactive, and it's giving them a massive gold lead now. It's already up by 3,000. They've got 2 dragons as well. That is the first start of the game. And even more avenues, even more ways to rotate and collapse.
And a really relaxed game here from Team Bliss, right? A bit of action around mid lane for sure. The matchups, we didn't see anything. Daystar, I don't know what you're talking about. He's going to come top to collect this wave. Shinky is full AP, so a bit of respect needs to be shown from Daystar. Is a Leandris, actually, from Shinky here as well. So isn't going for
Everfrost.
Everfrost, which does make the phase rush proc pretty easy this time around. It's not going to be as simple. Still full AP. There's lots of damage. If nothing else, Kanga have a lot of damage.
Yeah.
They're just starting to fall more and more behind, and Team Bliss just start to creep further and further ahead. They get the turrets, they get the objectives. Daystar is now so far ahead of everybody on the map. But Lived is even sitting there right behind him, just farming up a storm, had those solo kills himself.
Certainly a case of the gold been in all the right places. And you're sitting very pretty, knowing exactly the current game state. Nash's Tooth now just being completed there by Daystar on this Kai'Sa. Those evolves become closer and closer by the minute. Third dragon of the game up in 30 seconds. Currently landlocked in the top lane, but does have a TP to rotate, as does Shinky.
The W is evolved now with the Nash's Tooth done. We get closer to the Q&E as time passes. I mean, we're just looking everywhere. Liv.
We want to fight, and a fight we're fine. Lived has gone all out mode. He's looking for Fido. Fido's locked in his sights, and it's a case of which one do you go for? Oh, he just brings back both! He doesn't get juked at all! Flash and Tofo strikes, he just smurfed!
It's just better. He's smurfing.
So good.
Lived is just better. Really well played by him. I mean, you cannot fault this top lane. We've been talking about Lived as this tank facilitator, but the past couple of weeks, he's pulling out those carries. And he's playing tanks like carries.
That's it. So detrimental now to their wave clear. We just talked about how strong Lived was individually. Well, there's a second solo kill as easy as you like it. Daystar, the pressure you put into Shinky topside as well. Nearly finds himself another turret there. The wheels are in motion, Rusty. Bliss, a well-oiled machine. They're getting it done. That's dragon number 3. The map really belongs to them.
Yeah, the wheel of time just turns ever in the favor of Bliss in this game. Kanga doing nothing to sway it their way. Really not doing anything proactively just yet. They, for lack of a better description, are simply slowly losing. 3 Drakes in the hands of Bliss, kill lead in the hands of Bliss, gold lead, towers. It's all theirs. Item spikes are starting to come across, and this is with 1,000,000 stacks waiting in the arms of a Draven. If he gets 1 kill, you're looking at 3,000 gold. Just add another 1,000 to it.
Yeah, that's it.
He's going to have that much money. Kai'Sa hits 3 Ws on a Draven, and then a Draven throws an ult out. Someone dies.
See right now, 522 adoration stacks. An absolute weapon right now on the Draven.
Anyone getting deja vu?
Fighter's going to rock back up, and Liv's saying, I'm still going to take you on. You want more? Let's go all out again. Let's see what happens this time. There's your clone. This time you will juke me out. Will the chains be enough? Gets the Teva. He's juked him for the meantime. Learned from his lessons. He's bought enough time to allow a TP to come on through, but now is Lived in trouble. He's still on all that mode. Can still just traverse terrain. You know what, if you don't want to fight me 1v1, I'll just walk away. Let the rest of my team win elsewhere.
Yeah, cancels the home guards with the Q3 there and is able to dash himself to safety. Limus in mid lane sees 3 members of Kanga. But what are they doing in mid lane when Team Bliss are already breaking the inner turret or close to in top and could potentially collapse? They recognize they cannot be there, but they still are.
Yeah, this collapse is devastating right now. So stuck, nowhere to go, nowhere to run. Mayfan locked in place. There's no one low enough to get a kill. They're toying with him. They make sure Limus gets the kill.
1,700 gold. For one, he just made 1,448 gold from his passive.
That's how strong they are. That's how much of a control they have in this game. They literally let Limus cash in for free. He's on the Antiques Roadshow and he's sitting very pretty.
He's found some ancient technology. 2,800 gold in the pockets. Limus has cashed in big time and no doubt says, let me recall, guys. I just got that 1 frag and I've got an Infinity Edge on board. That is a dangerous man. And it's 7,000 gold now.
Just won the lottery, plain and simple. And it just begs the question, why were they there?
Why were they there, Skimmy?
Certainly a case of question mark pinging on the map. But either way, Team Bliss, not going to mind. The game plan working flawlessly for them. Side lane's working. Skirmish is going their way. And the objectives, 100% confirmation.
It's still a very slow, casual affair here from Bliss. It's not like we're really seeing anything crazy done by them. Kanga aren't able to produce any kind of proactivity in response, though. And so Bliss don't need to reinvent themselves. They can just continue to play methodical League of Legends, open themselves up to no errors, provide no holes, give no space to Kanga, just steadily consume the map and suffocate Kanga out of it in its entirety. 1 ward right now at the Baron pit in the river. Doesn't see the pit itself. Sees Daystar.
They have found Daystar. The Teva is good. He's already burnt the flash. He's still in trouble though. Look at the amount of healing going his way. That's a lot of time purchased as a result. Mayfan now becomes the Kai'Sa, but gets instantly shredded down by Limus. That's his 2nd of the game. The Baron is being looked at. And then the Baron is definitely on the cards. There's no smite.
Fighter looking over the wall. Gragas ultimate used.
Massive explosive cast with the Liantries as well. That's big damage as well. Liv is going to look to try and find what he can. 3-man knock-up. That's what you need. And now Kanga trying to contest even without a jungler. Are forced to back away. Shinky, a 1-man army. Surrounded by 4. And again, they hand the kill across to the Draven.
Arkia hunting for Jake. The support battle of a lifetime. But the Baron is going to be done here. LeBlanc is on the top side of the Baron. They're looking at the tower, shut down bounty gold if possible in this top lane. That's the best they can hope for. A bit of extra money into their pockets, but the game slips through their fingers. And now they are desperate. You watch this fight one more time. Daystar gets caught. Viego takes over the Kai'Sa, and that is his biggest mistake because a Draven comes in and just one-taps him with a single crit because now he is a Kai'Sa and has no armor. Fight ensues from this position. I think it's just Kanga trying to really be a pest, keep them busy, don't let them do the Baron for free, threaten them. But Liv just brings in Shinky. And Voice, who tries to contribute with the rest of his team, just walks into the 3-man Poppy ultimate that knocks them all up. And when they're knocked up, they have to come down, and that's exactly what happens.
We're fighting back again out of the replay, and And, well, into the arms of another Draven kill from what was such a farm-heavy game for him. He's now got 4 kills. And he really is living his best life right now. We are getting ever closer now to the 10k lead you just love to see.
We're going to go Fido. He is on split push duty from here on out. Let's just acknowledge that Fido is doing what he can to make money, to find win conditions. But meanwhile,
the second selection user decides to do just that as well. So I'll not only get a minion wave, I'll get a kill as well. And it is taken there by Mayfun. Credit where credit is due. Fido is continuing to run and do a world tour off this map. A great clone. Will deny a lot of that. He might actually distort away to safety.
he does.
Wasted all their time.
Teleports all the way back to base. He's not going to choose to recall. Akia is on the hunt,
He
however.
was, yeah.
My man's hungry on this Soraka, looking for some recalls. This is Ocean Soul, though.
Rough now if it wasn't already. Too much sustain to get your way through. Clutching at shores, really.
Have a look what happens in mid lane. Voice gets hit by the Void Seeker. Finds the person behind the Void Seeker, just chasing him down. And would you believe it? A little bit too far up in mid lane with no protection there, no turret there. And this is not something that feels new or unique or something we haven't seen before from Kanga. Sometimes they get a little bit swept up in the moment. They just walk too far forwards and get instantly punished. This is no exception.
Well, we've certainly seen Bliss be in commanding positions like this and look to play it out in very tutorial style fashion.
Oh, man.
No need to take any extra unnecessary risks. Be fed, have fun, and close it out in systematic fashion.
They start with the Ludens build here as well. The old AP mid-Kai, so not going to be a Gwynzoo's.
No.
Full into the W build. God, he's doing damage.
It will be interesting to see who's done the most at the end of this game. You'd imagine he'd be up at the top, but the amount of times Limus has crit with these huge adorations.
What a meta we live in. LeBlanc one taps a wave. Kai'Sa one taps a wave. They keep chasing. Where are you going to go fight it? To bed.
You can see the frustration as player cam though,
that.
can't you? I mean, it has felt like the story of Kanga split, where it's Fido really doing whatever he can, but always just picked apart in the side lane.
You know, Yerstan before this series was #1 in kills as a support. He had 14. I think 4 of those were from Ignite.
Yeah. He was a bit of an Ignite goblin, wasn't he?
Archeo was close to second on that list. He's certainly making a play with that last kill to rise up the ranks of greedy goblins down in that bottom lane.
No longer interested in assists as a support. It's all about who can get the most kills now.
It's about Medjai's,
Yeah.
isn't it, with these supports? Certainly could be a Medjai's. Someone like a Soraka, bit of AP doesn't go awry. Not that he needs it. Not that they need much. With an 11k gold lead and an Ocean Soul on a Soraka composition, I might add. Kai'Sa as well, the value from Ocean Soul. Hit 1W, sustain. Stay infinitely. LeBlanc dealing with an Ocean Soul as well is quite miserable. If you're a Static Shiv harass champion, you're not 100 to 0. Bliss are just fighting amongst themselves. I think they're just seeing Kanga as cannon fodder.
Who can get the most really at the end of this one, because you're essentially seeing full item
Oh,
advantages
crit.
in every single position right now. Limus takes a bit of damage, but then did it really occur? He's back to full HP already. Bloodthirster in a pocket Soraka will make that easy.
Split push, LeBlanc continues on her magical journey. Keep your eyes on what happens in mid lane though if she stays. So the recall or is cancelled. LeBlanc stays top.
So now it's about keeping Bliss here as long as they can. Casante's already gone back, so Lived is on the job. He's actually going to take a fight here with Fido, who's just managed now to take down that top turret. The fight continues though, despite them looking to try and defend their base. We're now getting juked by the observers as to which fight is more important. Out goes the Wish, keep them topped up and healthy. Deny the reset, deny Mayfun. He's already hit the ultimate, he cannot find the kill. Voice, flash, feather recall, not enough. Sidestep, that Void Seeker. But it's only a matter of time now. His Daystar is literally between 2 turrets inside your base and not a care in the world.
W comes out, is not going to hit. Voice still very much cognizant of the threat from these Void Seekers, but Team Bliss are threatening the whole game instead. And they are toying with them.
Yeah, you can see Dace having a little bit of fun with them underneath the turret there, taking a little bit of unnecessary damage, but either way, forced back to base they go, showcasing their wallet, just has a little bit too much money in it. They've hit them where it hurts. They said you can have every OP champion up and available. It will not matter. We'll still take you down in such a clean sweep fashion. At 29 minutes in, you're left wishing there's just more time and more opportunities. Out they respawn, the base completely destroyed. Just like that, Bliss started off with a dub.
Just a matter of time, it felt like, here for Team Bliss, game number 1 of this series. I mean, they give over the LeBlanc. They play the Kai'Sa mid lane instead as a response to it. And I feel like at no point in this game did the LeBlanc really feel like a genuine issue or threat or problem that they had to deal with, to the point where it just started split pushing, and that was really all they could get done with it. And I mean, that could honestly be said for most of the team from Kanga in this game, unfortunately. Felt zero impact from the bot lane. Tough to do so when it's a losing game state and you're Isaiah Braum.
Sure.
If mid's struggling in these 2v2s, I mean, Why Not was just so on the pulse again with where he needed to be and when, that they just denied Kanga any opportunities.
Just felt like there was a couple of rare moments where they did excel, like the ultimate that Mayfan's able to try and secure and get the kill in the mid lane. But twice, as Rusty pointed out, when you're fighting on big item purchases like the Static Shiv, like the Trinity Force, you know, could have been a difference in some cases.
And we kind of do talk about all the time with Kanga. It's always Mayfan, it's always Fido, and those two actually had their moments this game. You go, whoa, Fido got the solo kill on Daystar. I mean, I was sitting back in my chair, going, hold up, what?
Yeah.
That happened? But then we saw that Static Shiv mid lane is so disgusting. And I kind of wanted to break down a little bit more about Fido at the very start of that game, because he gets the solo kill, he shuts down Daystar, and it feels like it doesn't really go anywhere.
No, and then the rest of this game, compositionally, this is an incredibly hard LeBlanc game. You're playing against the Poppy, you're playing against the Soraka, and a Kai'Sa who in itself is quite a strong counter into the pick, able to trade back a lot of damage. So yes, he was able to find that initial kill, but like Rusty and Skimmy mentioned, it was Wino who was able to get around towards this mid lane and meant that Fido wasn't able to extend this lead any further.
And speaking of Why Not, I felt like his jungle pathing at the very start of the game was a little bit conflicted.
Yeah, so for those of you who didn't see on Twitter, his latest rendition of the tweet was me invading after 3 camps and killing Mayfan on his red buff. He looked for that this game, didn't find it, and that sort of threw off and kind of desynced his path.
He's playing for Twitter, man.
He's playing for Twitter. He was a little bit slower than he would have liked to get this off the start of his clear. Overall, I think it was a bit of a slow start from Bliss across the board. Arkia losing double sums, base checking, and obviously Daystar going down in the mid lane. But that being said, this is a team that's so good at stonewalling and then just bringing the game back in their favor. Kanga were never really able to actually find any meaningful advantages, and it was just a snowball out of control for Bliss.
It felt like to me that moment when they had that confusing moment in the mids, like almost like the entrance into the topside river, where they basically donate the kill across the Lemus. He gets the cash in on what, like 1700 gold, and you're thinking, okay, that's doomed. It's over.
I wonder, is that the point there? The you see around 20 minutes where the gold just
single line
drops. That's got to be the kill, right?
That's the Draven moment.
That's a single man making 1700 gold with 1 auto attack. Yeah,
Comes back with
that checks out.
Because like with the Essence Reaver IE to basically like, oh well, suddenly I'm a Xayah with 1 item. I can't play the game.
And I think that kind of speaks to Bliss's proficiency, is even though they're slower in that early game, we saw Chiefs demonstrate the same thing in the last series, where maybe, yes, they had a slower early game, but they can continue to stay strong and then bring themselves back. And I kind of want to speak onto Bliss as a team, where their advantages are, how they excel, whether it's in the early game, in the late game, and what a slow early game means for Bliss.
I think for me, the most interesting thing about Bliss is that they can carry in every position right now. Like, we're seeing Bliss play with top getting solo kills or playing the Fiora, right? Yep. So they can draft for top lane. Bot lane is a Draven that can be super aggressive, but they give it a Soraka and they just play to coast, right? And this is a game where they draft a Kai'Sa and they play around it to win through mid. I think with that in mind, that like they are so flexible in who can carry, and as a result, they are flexible in how they play the game out. They're willing to sacrifice Drakes or play for Drakes early. That flexibility is not something that I think Kanga are around just yet. And I think that ability overwhelms a lot of these lower placed teams right now in the scoreboards, because they can't keep up with this flexibility that changes every single draft.
I think it's also the evolution from Split 1 to 2 as well. I think very early on in Split 1, they were a team that had probably arguably the strongest early game in the league, but would always lose their head around the 15-minute mark. They'd go for a Drake, they'd go for a Herald, they'd lose a massive fight, the game would be kind of doomed from that point onwards. Seems like they've reined that in a lot more. They've obviously got a lot more styles up their sleeve, like Rusty's mentioning. And just no need to say we need to get speed runs. We need to win this game in 20 minutes or it's bust, right? There's like no self-imposed pressure. It's like, yeah, it is. We can all see what the result is going to be, but we can add another 5-10 minutes on.
And Bliss only gets hotter. I feel like the first time I saw them in the league, they started, you turn the stove on, and you're steadily turning it up to get hotter and hotter and hotter as the flames get bigger. And by the end of the league, they were second place. And now it feels like they've got every single stovetop on, and continuously Arkia, who's come in. We saw Daystar mention in an interview earlier that Arkia is still kind of finding his way to get settled in, and we see that clearly with Daystar. His performance this split, I'd say, far excels his performance last split.
Yeah, definitely looking like one of the standout performers. One person I want to shout out as well is Liv, though. I think coming into his own right, and like you said, a true carry threat in that top lane, finding solo kill after solo kill in this game particularly. This is a guy who has sort of gained a bit of an ego over these last couple of weeks, and rightly so, right? He deserves it. He has the skill to match. But this just adds another factor to Bliss of saying, okay, not only do we have to worry about Daystar and then Arkia, and then suddenly if Liv gets a counter pick, it's a problem. Where do you actually start in drafting against Bliss?
You know what was funny to me as well is when we sent Bliss over to the PCS, we looked at the teams that we were sending over, and I think we unanimously kind of agreed that top lane influence in the PCS was a lot higher than it is in OS.
Yep.
Teleport flanks, team fight flanks, just these angles
Yep.
that no top laner was recognizing. But when it came to the BO5s, Lived was actually going toe-to-toe in laning phase. Like, he was holding his own against these players that we conceptualized as simply better. And really showed what he is capable of. And I think he's carried all of those learnings, all that practice against those opponents, and has truly learned from that now for this split. And I think is actually just standing above almost every other top laner, BioPanther. I think the one exception to that rule.
If in doubt, he'll just play Alawi. That's what I learned from Lived.
Yeah.
Have we seen a Live the Lower game? Maybe I missed the last
was
one.
Not
split.
this split. Not this split, no.
Your last
Into Jax.
He played into
Yep.
Chippy's Jax, then he played it at PCS, I'm pretty sure, as well.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, and then everyone's just like, whoa, that's so crazy. So, that's cool.
It's good to see Liv play really well as well. I mean, I mentioned it when we interviewed him yesterday, but he's such a great guy too. So to see Liv be kind of, is he kind of what Bliss is centering around? Because I feel like I'm having a hard time defining it. You mentioned, Rusty, that they're strong in every single area. They're all carries. Is there someone that they kind of try to look towards?
Here's the thing to me, right, is Lived is a very great player in lane, yeah? And when you have someone like Daystar who's also great in lane and you know that your whole team comp is going to be centered around them, the enemy jungler is going to be there 90% of the time, right? So you can almost safely say that your lane's going to be 1v1. That allows you to mechanics max and go for these solo kill plays that you normally wouldn't be if you're feeling a bit more hesitant about that jungle attention. So I think that all across the board, Bliss is this great combination of, I'm going to draw pressure here, that means you can go do your thing here, and they're all freeing each other up to become their mechanical best.
Wow, hey, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, freeing each other up. I keep bringing up pro play, but that's another thing. Is they're all like, yo, I got you, bro. I'll cover for you,
Exactly.
man. I'll cover for you. Would you cover my shift to work, Max?
Yes.
Thanks, Max. Anyways, from the
I
fans.
love this bit. It's like the eager puppy and like the jaded old man just like, yep, I will. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Max.
If
jaded
I
old
have
man.
to host.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ancient. Quicksand keeps reminding me.
Yeah, from the fans, of course. This is another way to prove how old you are with all the Odyssey events you were
Love
just
you.
talking about, bro.
Yeah, straight up, the best. It brought back so many positive memories. Like, I've never had that much fun. I mean, I never got into like some other different games like that involved that more RPG element, but this was exactly what I wanted in League while still playing the game.
And I feel like no one's mentioned like the dating sims you get in what was it, the Spirit Blossom?
The Spirit Blossoms had
Oh,
effectively
horrible.
a dating sim story.
Horrible.
Yeah, that's true.
Best event out of
Horrible
all of them.
event.
I wouldn't call that a game mode, but it was
No.
certainly an event.
It happened.
It was certainly an event.
It
I
was in
didn't
the
think I
climb.
would see Yone blushing on main, but you know, a lot happened in those events.
Look, maybe it's cooking up now. Dominion and Ascension. Okay, well, we heard about Dominion, right?
Oh,
But I genuinely miss.
Oh, Twisted Tree
Twisted
Line.
Tree,
That's it.
yes.
Yes.
That
Guys,
was a
I'm-
3v3 mode, for reference.
It was a 3v3 map.
There
That was
was a
actually a lot of
spider.
fun.
The map was the best.
It was so good.
Everything was the best. You could dance. You could dance, right? So there was the equivalent of Baron, which was this giant spider. And if you all danced together, it would do a dance as well. Yeah.
Vilemore, I think.
Vilemore.
Vilemore?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, why do they remove these modes?
actually
It's
don't
all I
know.
want to know. Like, who's actually asking for these to be trimmed?
Yeah, someone like, okay, guys, we've had this game mode. Let's not let them play
Oh,
it
queue
ever
times
again.
are too long. Too many people are spread across too many games.
I'm
Cap.
hoping with
Cap.
2v2v2v2, it's a mouthful to say, 2v2 mode.
Arena
Yeah.
mode.
Arena mode
yeah.
coming out, that they'll also reintroduce the cycle of like Twisted Tree Line Dominion.
For sure.
Because I know that
Please.
Riot have hired a game mode team
They
at
have.
the start of this year. So like they're
Don't
putting
get me
more-
excited.
I'm just saying.
Don't
they,
get my
they,
hopes up.
they hired them. I can't promise you a pipeline on when it's released.
Okay.
You know?
But it's in the works.
But it exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, the team exists.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I really miss seeing the grey screen.
Hey, do we have my
Haven't had a
tweet?
death in game for a few years. Yeah, I gotta say it's a really unique game mode. I touch on it all the time. Grey screen's probably my
I looked up
favorite,
his. Shout out Kezi. I looked up his OPGG. He's been averaging 10 deaths a game for the last 20 games. So this is definitely not true.
Call it
like
on the
how
LCO broadcast, bro.
Casey has a
hardcore.
tweet every show, and it's literally targeted at Max to
Yep,
flame him. Like,
yeah. We have this dynamic. Love you,
so
Kezi.
good.
You read it and you're like, the ego, but you know full well it's not ego, it's just baiting Max in
Yeah,
to
yeah,
shut
yeah.
him down.
Yeah.
And
Valid.
well, we got a couple more. Maybe Max, your tweets mixed up in some of these. I don't know what you tweeted out, but
It was just his OPGG.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that is Dominion.
I wonder where
That's
that
a
image
selfie.
came from before. On the
That
lower
was a
third, huh?
selfie. That's me and the boys on the squad. Where we dropping? Dominion, mate.
Hide and seek Timo. All random, all bot. So many good
Timo was
modes.
banned. Timo was the banned. We always banned Timo, Shaco, like Evelyn, like all the Invis champs.
Oh,
were, like,
absolutely, yeah.
just insta ban.
But there was
That's right
that custom
production.
hide and seek mode, right?
That is right production.
You actually played like hide and seek with Timo, and the objective as the custom game was to find
Oh,
the Timo who was
really?
hiding. Yeah.
wait, I'm confused. Dominion, like, was there something about Invis champs, or did they just?
no, this was the map you played hide and seek on.
Oh.
Because the vision was just so different. There weren't as many long lines of sight. There were a lot more
Yeah.
bushes as well.
There also was a square or rectangular
It
style
was a
arena in the
circle
middle.
map.
Yeah.
So like, you know how, did you play Nexus Blitz?
Yeah, I did. That's the one with the cart, right?
So Nexus Blitz also
Yeah,
had
okay, I
like
did
the
play Nexus
arena
Blitz.
mode where it would condense.
Mhm.
You used to do this as well in Dominion. You just use the square in the middle. So like a lot of the conceptualized game modes started with like people just doing it themselves in customs in Dominion.
We still got one more to go through as well. So I'd like to take a look at that one. Of course. Oh, it's not yours. Sorry, Max. Maybe you want to read it out instead.
No, it's
That's
not.
pretty special.
Odyssey, of course, most enjoyable PvE experience they put out, and the best legendary skin was released with it. True. I swear I'm not biased towards Kane at all in any way. I don't have Rast on my arm. This is from B Syrup. He does have a tattoo of Rast on his arm, but I agree about this skin being the
So
best.
what is this Odyssey mode? So you say it's like RPG elements?
Yes. So, what's the best way to describe it? So you go through multiple different stages where you're trying
It's
to
like a raid.
yeah, where you're like trying to clear raids, and then at the end,
Oh,
Hey.
sounds like my kind of game.
and at the end, you
Where
have
are
to
we
fight
going?
Kane. You fight Odyssey
the raid
Kane.
boss?
He's the raid boss.
League of Legends, mate. You know
Yeah.
what to do. Bring it back. I'll quit that game and play this game more.
You really should.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait, when did Twisted Tree Line come out? Are we
Come
going to see it
out?
Was it
again?
on release?
2011?
Yeah.
Oh. Was it not on release?
I have no idea. It was the first game of League of Legends I ever played was on
You
Twisted
know what
Tree.
they need? League Classic. And we
That
go
was
back.
a thing, and it got
we-
taken down.
We go back to like 2009, and we've only got like your Annies, your Alistairs, your Rise, whatever it might be.
Ezreal, Twisted Fate.
Mana
Back
potions.
when
Yeah.
champions' skills were one line. Miss me with these
Ah.
15 passives, and he has AD and AP. And okay.
Well, we've got plenty more champion abilities to see. We do have to jump to a break, but there is plenty of time to go for one more game. Don't forget, Kanga need to break through to get a better qualification spot here. Team Bliss securing top 2.
The result, Mayfar now becomes the Kaiser, but gets instantly shredded down by Lemus. That's his second of the game. The Baron is being looked at, and then the Baron is definitely on the cards. There's no smite.
Fighter looking over the wall. Gragas ultimate used.
Massive explosive cast with the Leandries as well. That's big damage as well. Liv is going to look to try and find what he can. Free-man knock-up. That's what you need. And now Kanga trying to contest even without a jungler. A full step back away. Shinky, a one-man army. As a result.
Strong like what? Warrior stance like what? Warrior sign like what? Yeah, original. My bells be hot like ooh, yeah. Fire sign blaze like woo, yeah. Fire sign blaze like woo, yeah. We be rolling far and we're rising high. Take control when we enter rooms, my girls should be ride or die. Bring that power, yeah, we're blazing. Look them haters straight in the eye. Bring that vibe, yeah, we made it. Too hot like shady. Too hot, but amazing. Strong like what? Warrior stance like what? Warrior sign like what? Yeah, original. My bells be hot like ooh, yeah. Fire sign blaze like woo, yeah. Fire sign blaze like woo, yeah.
wants it. Kingsley's not here, but it's a pentakill.
Second, he'll find a second. Chippy is on an absolute tear right now.
We were talking earlier that I had to take Oscar's job, and now I'm doing that exact thing because he could not be bothered. So this is the intro, and that is the end of the intro. Oscar, analyze away.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry for giving my job. I will try not to do that again. Def fan vote. Yes, do it. Put your points down, and you get more points back.
You've lost the job already. Onto this couch.
So what you want to do is up over there where Rusty
yes.
is going to kindly demonstrate that he is the dare. Put your points up there. Bars.
Maybe
Yeah.
just give it to Skimmy. Oh yeah, we're done. Just get rid of this couch altogether.
Bars. Well, we can intro, we can talk, we can self-throw ourselves into champ selectors already, Laura. I will literally self-champ select ourselves in.
No, I think I got that under control because we still do have Kanga versus Bliss coming up for game number 2. And the important thing to point out is now that Kanga have gone down 1-0, it means that they can't make it into this top 4. Can't make it into the top 4, but they can still deny Bliss a locked-in top 2 for the seeds. Nothing too crazy going on, but they do have a really, really tough road ahead of them, even if they do lose, because don't forget, Kanga, after this, only have 1 game, which they have to win to qualify in that top 6.
That'd be a real hater move, wouldn't it be? Like, you lose your chance, but you go down with the ship and you bring him down with you.
Yeah, just play spoiler.
Hey, can they do it? I can do my job right. Champ select.
What about it?
Let's do champ select then. And Kanga say, you know what? We played LeBlanc. Didn't give us the win. Let's ban LeBlanc. That's
And
what's
it's
done,
gone.
Rusty. It's
And
gone.
it's a blue side LeBlanc ban.
And it's gone.
And they've decided they've banned it from themselves. Still plenty of options going to be there, but it is a Jason and a Carly that have been taken away from Daystar. They don't like Daystar. This is Fido saying, I'm so sick of having champions banned from me. You get a taste of how it feels.
100%.
Yes.
That is the vibes I'm getting from this.
Yes,
I'm so
Gibby.
sick and tired of getting like 5 bans to me. Daystar, you feel it. And he's like, mate, did you not know I have an encyclopedia
Who
champ?
has played 9 champions so far out of, is it 10 games? 9 champions out of,
Yeah, it's not perfect anymore, so we'll be 9 from 10.
well, thereabouts anyway. Who is that? It's Daystar. You can't ban him out. You cannot ban him out.
no.
Does banning LeBlanc, Akali, and Jay set up an Azir pick? Not really. We just wanted to play the Azir, I feel like, right? Bit more comfort for
He's
him.
vibing.
Yeah, he's just vibing real hard. Renekton and Sejuani in response, though. Speaking of teams that are vibing, that is a duo that vibes real hard together.
So he does. Lived is very, very good on the Renekton, that we know for sure. It was a part of time when Bliss definitely were on repeat, just spamming Renekton. It could have been Elise, could have been Nidalee, could have been, yeah, Sejuani, quite honestly. And I would love to see a melee matchup in mid for Daystar now as well to try and fight fire with fire.
And I want to really quickly highlight this as well. Kanga sitting on, I believe, 2 points right now. The team that they're chasing in 6th place is Vertex, who have 4. Now, if you want to catch Vertex and you don't beat Bliss here, your next opponent is Pensanet.gg. And you need to 2-0 them. So this is a really important game for Kanga if you're going to try and find that 1-1, try and find that way into the top 6 and make playoffs. Or your split could be in jeopardy.
At the same time, obviously still hoping that Vertex don't win their games as well, right?
Exactly.
So many factors involved here. So this could be the draft that, yeah, really does set yourself up for success in that regard. What do they decide to play in the mid lane then? Currently you can see Daystar relaxed his area. Yeah, cheeky Heimerdinger. Shout out Benvi.
Just the nonchalant hover of the Donga. Kai'Sa gets locked in. Now we don't know which lane it is. Now we simply do not know if that's going to be a mid Kai'Sa or if it's going to be a bot lane Kai'Sa. I think into the Azir I would like the bot lane Kai'Sa as the lane of choice.
Sure.
But if you can get through it, then why not? You're still going to be just as strong as you were before with that static shift proc. Clear the wave, don't interact with the Azir. Get out, nothing happened. Azir doesn't get to harass you at all, but the early laning phase could be quite rough early, particularly pre-6.
Ah, see, now the tax is being paid. They're thinking maybe Voice defaults back to AP champions. Try and make life a little bit easier for him. We've already touched on this a few times when he did play into the Chiefs. It was the Seraphine as well as the Ziggs.
Graves lock-in does open the floor to that, but I think with an Azir there, you don't go for the solo AP Ziggs type champion. So I like the Seraphine ban. I like the supportive AP champion removed from the bottom lane. Liam is perhaps looking for some stability down there as a Draven gets banned away from him.
Yeah, not entirely convinced that this Kai'Sa could be going to the bot lane just yet, so Have denied away one of those AD champions. Still more emphasis on the spot lane, right? With the Milio coming out as well. Another champion that Jake's been a big fan of. Not the strongest when they did pair it with a Kindred in the jungle. Sure it can function still very strongly with a Graves.
And it's just the bottom lane left for Bliss. If that is going to be a Kai'Sa mid lane, that is still to be seen. They'll have to pick one of those champions now. I think if you're hiding the Kai'Sa's position, you'd lock in a support. You don't know your matchup down there, however. Yep, that's a support. So obviously things make a lot of sense. That looks like an Echo mid into Azir. Is the matchup of choice for Daystar, so adds another champion to the repertoire. The reason I think it is an Echo into the Azir is you can use your E. Yeah, all right. We got Uzi on Kanga's side. Echo can use the dash to get over Azir's ult, I believe. Instantly, yeah, yeah. I think you have a pretty hard time. You also can clear waves quite nicely. You go DMAT for the cannons, just control those waves super early and get yourself up to 6. But I guess we should hold the conversation on Echo because we just straight up have a Vayne locked in. Now, here's the thing, right? Vayne Renata can work into the Kai'Sa AD. They waited for the Echo before. They saw the Kai'Sa bottom before they went for this. But while it can work into the Kai'Sa, can it work into Renekton, Sejuani, Echo, and Blitz? I think the answer is a resounding God, no. You have to play so well to be able to deal with these champions, or just get so fed that you kill them. Vayne can kill tanks easily, but 4 crowd control champions and a Kai'Sa that flips the map onto you, it's tough.
You need space, and you certainly need a lot of time as well. But I tell you what, another argument to be made of more static shivs. Vayne, another user of it, absolutely loves it. Patches up their weakness of relatively weak wave clear. And another champion that you mentioned, you know, with Kai'Sa coming back into the fold of things, where are our Israels? Where are our Vaynes? Well, there we go.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, I think that Vayne is workable in a lot of compositions. I think Vayne is pickable into the Kai'Sa. I personally would like it as a red side 5th or 4th pick, right? With the right circumstances of a bot lane already locked in. Vayne Renata is really solid into the top side of the map, including the Blitz, even including the Kai'Sa, in stopping people from hitting your Vayne. Azir and Gragas are so good at stopping people from hitting that carry as well. But usually Azir is coupled with long-range AD carries so that you can outrange them, stand behind the Emperor's Divide and be safe to auto-attack. Vayne fairly close range and kite-oriented.
Yep.
So Azir may be playing more for himself or playing more for those offense Emperor's Divides. So maybe a different style of League of Legends here from perhaps the meta or the standard that I have in my head. There is going to be a lot of side lane threat from Kanga more than anything else, right? Static Shiv into the Renekton, 2 items, this Vayne could be devastating.
Yes, certainly could be. It begs the question how many more we'll get, because we definitely know that Kai'Sa is a big fan of the item and there's a potential world in which Echo can build it too. So we're in for a treat either way. I'm curious to see actually the last time we've seen an Echo, because it feels like an eternity ago we've had really assassins make their presence known in that mid lane. Either way though, it's a great way to close out day 2 here, with Team Bliss currently leading this best of 2, looking for that perfect 2-0 to join Chiefs up there for a guaranteed top 2 seed. The Kanga, as you've already rightly pointed out, 2 points at the moment. They're chasing their next best, which is 4. To walk away with a point here today would be massive.
What do you reckon the last time we saw an Echo was? I'm going to guess 2021.
I'm thinking Chaz?
Yeah, I was also thinking Chaz for some reason. I feel like into Syndra.
I feel like the Parbu PGG roster.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. 2021 Pentnet. No idea who their opponents would have been, but I'm going to say it was into a Syndra. This is just a genuine guess. We'll find that out. What matters now is we're into the game. Let's quickly set the stakes here, as well as Team Bliss will sweep away a ward very early on into the piece that defends their own jungle. So, Bliss winning this 2-0 puts them top 2, puts them even in the standings with the Chiefs. Big thing to look towards is we've just discovered the Hail of Blades E-Start Echo puts in some serious damage. I'll tell you what it doesn't do, Skim. It does not clear waves.
No.
But boy, does it do damage.
That is going to hurt. That is certainly going to add up as well.
That is gross. Even trade, really, but that is still gross.
Fighter's answering back well, though, isn't he?
It is the Static Shiv. It is the longsword start.
Which is interesting because I'm not too sure if it'd be a rushable item or not. A lot of the time we'd seen it where you were getting your Rocket Belt into your Nash's too with the selection of completed third, but clearly here feeling it's enough in pro play to say forget about what works in solo queue. It's all about wave clear, it's all about tempo.
Oh, Shinky one hit in top lane. Didn't see how that one happened, but Liv putting in work up here right now. Rage bar stacked. Level 3, still a little bit away, so maybe not full kill threat. Seems like it should be okay. Hook just missing as well in the bottom lane. But action everywhere, fighting everywhere right now. Volatile is this game state.
Certainly is.
Walking on through.
Looking to see what we can find. Nothing to be found at this early stage. But certainly a case of the lane is getting a little bit excited. Looking to try and test their limits, see what they can get out of it.
I think it's just really Chad from Why Not. You know, walks through vision, doesn't care. Clears the ward that they know got placed down, which is why he's intentionally swept through there. Mid skirmishing getting so low, but the pressure from that Sejuani existing may just play in the mind of Fido, right? Why is Daystar sitting here with 200 HP, no potions against me? Is the Sejuani back? Right? Or does it draw the attention, the ire of Mayfarn, who is spotted on that ward?
Certainly is. Why not
Hook
fully
hit.
aware of it? Great hook, completely taking voice across the wall. Starkey flashes, he's burning, he gets the heal, and he does get the bailout, and despite it not proccing, would have been there to potentially give them the uptime to fight back.
I just don't know strategically. I'm trying to piece together what it was Kanga were after there, because if it was an invade into the blue buff, you have to know and recognize the Bliss are going to be first to get there anyway. The Blitzcrank, they have vision over the wall, they spot mid moving, they spot the jungler moving there, they spot your bot lane moving through wards in the river that have just very recently died. Because they have a read on exactly where you are, of course the hook's going to come through. And maybe they just made a play and didn't consider their opponents. Bring back chess analogies from Why Not. It's a good way to lose a game of chess.
Yes, certainly is. You see though, just that ranged matchup advantage. You already touched on it, Ross. You can do a lot of harassment as the Echo. You will fail to clear the waves as effectively. We've already seen that mirrored by the CS advantages that the Azir has as a result. Liv topped up and healthy here as the Renekton, not going to be bullied out by Shinky anytime soon, who has already committed his TP. I was losing it pretty heavily when we last checked in.
And they know where Mayfarn is at every single moment in this game. Goes back towards his Gromp, will be spotted on a ward. Jake gonna hover mid lane, Arkia just hanging out here as well. And again, mid is so volatile. The farm is going all the direction of Fido. Daystar certainly struggling to stay toe-to-toe in this lane.
Daystar's going through it. Nearly dies as a result. It's so low. 5 HP, I think, at his lowest. Very lucky to be alive.
That Q connected. Oh, the hook does.
He's juked into it. Yeah, voice in trouble. Lemus unable to really assist much further. I found out the stats, and yes, 2021 it was played by Chaz. It was played twice, actually, by him. In Split 1 as well as the playoffs. Up against Gravitas, up against Peace as well. The one that stands out for me the most, though, was actually in 2021 Split 2. It was played by Sybil.
Jungle game.
It was.
Ah, that's right. He was a jungle Echo 1 trick back then. He really appealed to something very deep in the recesses of our brains.
At least we got half of it right.
I mean, we got Chaz.
Caster brain isn't always too fuzzy.
Hey, sometimes we have good memories. You asked for the play of the day from this week, I already have no idea, even though there was a pentakill. You know what I mean? Like, it's.
What happened yesterday, mate? Don't know.
I don't know what happened 2 minutes ago in this game. Welcome to Shoutcasting, where there's so much information overload. Sometimes it's hard to just know what's happening currently. Hook.
Ooh, first take mess.
Gives him a tickle.
Look at those odds, though. 97%. It just keeps creeping up.
I think the way that first game went, Skimmy, it's hard to offer a lot of percentage towards Kanga. Just because it felt like at all points they were dealt with, they were handled mid.
Have they found Fido? He's inside the shield. Just flashes out at the very last moment. Or that stun would have been devastating. You can see his face. He's not happy, shaking his head. I mean, he has such a strong lead in CS. But the pressure from the potential gank.
Oh no.
And now it gets worse. Because Mayfarn might share that same fate. He's come across and he's given him the bailout. He needs to get the kill. It gets denied by Daystar. He just chrono shifts back, and there you have it. It's first blood for Bliss.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't spoken about this combo yet either, but the Sejuani was picked with a Renekton. It's a dangerous duo, but let's consider a Hail of Blades Echo in mid as well. The auto attacks come through hot and fast, and Why Not has absolute bliss with lanes that he can gank for. So easy for the jungler of Bliss to play this one out. And just like that, finds his opportunity, but this time it is the jungler that falls after the mid laner was attacked. Speaking of Fido, well, he's putting some damage down here onto Arkia. You could tell that he was upset by that one because I think he really wanted to use his ult more than his flash. Push Daystar under the turret, perhaps. Speaking of flashes.
Here's another flash burn. But just really carrying on the momentum from game one, isn't it, for Why Not? It's going to look very easy. He asked for a melee matchup in that mid lane to make sure that Sejuani would find value anywhere it went. And I was expecting a Sylar, something a little bit more standard, but says, nah, I'm bored. It's Echo.
Didn't hesitate either, just smashes the Echo. Happy with his lane state, though he is behind on that farm. Static Shiv is in fact going to be the rush no matter what now. So he'll eventually get that extra wave clear. Press Q on the wave, auto attack the melees, and I'm sure all 6 minions will die. And you're expecting that creep score to catch up a little bit there. Hook. Oh.
It's close.
That was blind too.
In goes Fido. He finds the scoop he's after. Arkia is the target, but they can't connect him. He's already flashed away. They've lost their way.
Even Lemus is here. Meanwhile, bottom farming. So Lemus, I guess, moves here to secure. The Herald doesn't want to be at risk of dying to a play or skirmish if it were to happen bottom. They show mid, so he's able to walk bottom. Doesn't look like Kanga have any intent to dive. It seems like we just go back to farming our waves. I like that from Lemus a lot, to be honest with you. If he feels unsafe bottom, you know, there are certain other teams. Voice actually was someone suffering from this yesterday. He stays bottom on vision. And Kanga in this case would have just 3-man dove Lemus instead. He had no summoners, he just used them. So instead of staying unsafe, he finds an opportunity to walk mid. Maybe even dissuade a play from Kanga. Finds something for himself and then has a wave to go back to once they show.
Being proactive on the map and certainly finding a way to deter any kind of way for Kanga to assert really any control. If they do seize the moment to try and strike with the Emperor's Divide, it's not going to amount to anything. It's just wasted time.
Oh, man. Hair's breadth every single time here from Akia, but he's hunting, he's proactive. I don't think he cares that these hooks are missing.
He's got the Mobies, he's keen to go.
You know the LCK loves a good Blitzcrank game. Hooks up now.
Oh! Once again, super close. Out goes the camping tent.
Hey, 10 seconds. You reckon he chucks one off cooldown again?
Yeah, of course.
Running straight bottom. He's got his Moby boots. Here
fast.
he comes.
He's zooming into life. Where are you going for? He's like, Red Jet, you're just dead. Oh, man. Scratch your
hey,
head.
10 seconds. 10 seconds. What if he does it again?
That's what this cast has become. It's just Blitzcrank check.
Mobies has now just been blown, unfortunately, from that Renata handshake, but is with Why Not. Mid teleport was used from Daystar. Feels like a bit of a bold move here as he looks for this trade. Static Shift done though. Meanwhile, it seems like a hook might have hit.
Oh, it certainly does. Mayfan very low. The ballot once again not proccing, but he's gone. That Herald is going to get its just reward and confirm. 2 plates go. And Mayfan will not lose the battle against the Krugs on this occasion. It's just so simple for them.
Skirmishing.
Why Not on the Dragon? As easy as you like it. No soul point to really look at anytime soon. And we are into a pause.
Thankfully, nothing happening too much on the Rift right now for that pause to feel super crucial. Of course, just a couple of respawns here from the side of Kanga coming through. That mid-skirmish, Daystar was well under the tower, but it seems like he got out unscathed. So we just go back to business as usual. Hopefully we can get through this pause as fast as possible. When we come back from it, you're looking at Bliss getting that Drake. You've seen the amount of control, the amount of tempo that they have right now through their support, moving with their jungler. Static Shiv affording them a lot of wave clear now as well. Bliss in the driver's seat in this one, to be sure. But I will say Vayne scaling, Azir scaling, right? They've got Graves for scaling damage. There's options that exist on the side of Kanga. It's just that the ball is currently in Bliss's court. They get to play proactive. They have the tanks. They have the ultimates that are super influential right now. And Arkia is a relentlessly aggressive man. And I'm just so glad that he has found Blitzcrank because they feel destined for each other as play styles and player.
Absolutely. Just night and day though, isn't it, between this and the
Liv.
Soraka?
Liv just pre-popped a Dominus. He was keen.
Mate's keen to steal it away.
He wanted a biff.
Very unhappy.
Shinky just sees him walk back in mid. He's like, what's going on with that?
Why is he gone? Why is he there? Jake not going to find what he needs. And, oh, the volatile.
Teleport.
It's not going to find what they need. Hostile takeover will not confirm. He felt like maybe Bliss would overextend a bit further.
Was just a teleport from Fighter. Wasn't going to be some kind of top lane inclusion to this one. Can just go back to his lane. But with that said, Sejuani's already pushed mid. Knowing that it was the Echo that moved down there. The hook. Ooh.
Good handshake. Firm handshakes all around. That's an even firmer one, a cold one if you like that. Mayfind out a one-stun into a second, dead before the second connects. And that is Daystar's first kill of the game. It felt like it was coming for a while. But linked up, well, why not? Anywhere they go, people just fall.
Yeah, I mean, geez, they're doing damage together, right? Fighter goes for it, but just gets himself a large chicken nugget instead. It's going to reset as he has to catch this mid-wave. Not mad at the idea. Shinky seems to have based from top and will just sacrifice a plate and a 30 CS difference right now between these top laners. And the hook that hit bottom, again, just off your screen prior to the early fight, forces a lot of things going Team Bliss's way. And look at the total gold here. It is all Team Bliss. It is all coming up red.
It really is. Very different affair to what it looked like in game one now.
Fido.
I mean, to a degree to be expected if you do have the double hyper-scaling carries. At the same time, Bliss have given you so much pressure that you're not allowed to just freely scale with this Sejuani, with this Blitzcrank.
Look at this wave clear, man. Once you get that static shiv, you just simply press Q and auto attack all of the melees and they're gone.
Yeah.
One of Azir's biggest strengths as a mid lane champion is your ability to clear waves while also threatening or harassing your opponents, right? You can just put those Sand Soldiers in the back line, in the range creeps, make people feel apprehensive to have to deal with you. But if Daystar clears waves this fast before they even crash, like you don't really get a chance to interact with your lane opponent. And suddenly Echo, suddenly Jake dead. We actually probably just need Arkia Cam. And this is now just an Arkia fandom. Has the hook, has the Moby boots. He's a man to watch.
Certainly not one where you can talk too much from an analysis standpoint. Very much more just sit back, relax, enjoy the show.
Roller coaster. Every time we go downhill, we just put our hands up. We're like, hey!
Enjoy the vibe. Here he goes. Arkia's looking for it, gets shoved back. Will he still go for the hook? You guarantee you will. That was too close for comfort. Nearly drag right back from where he came from. Out goes the explosive cast. Hey, look, you do get that on the big jobs. Hostile takeover knocks them down. Liv will not kill a teammate, but it Mayfang will kill confirm. Into the backline goes Lemus with the Cracker Slayer active. That's some big damage this early on, but double has been found by Mayfang. He is dead and gone now. And now Uzi, called Voice, has found his first in this game as well. He's tumbling in the night. He's going to try and condemn. But condemned to death he will be, as there is your first ace.
Listen, I mix up Uzi and Voice all the time as well. I get it. But still, ultimately, Voice/Uzi goes down to the damage from this Echo. And if you were to summarize that team fight in simple terms, it is the damage from Daystar that just goes absolutely insane. Quietly achieving as well is Lemus once the fight breaks out and he's able to get in here. It starts with Liv just turning around and the cast goes wide. But look at this DPS after the hostile takeover from the static shiv, from the auto attacks, the Q's going through everyone. A flash ult from Arkia as well finds all 4 targets. Pretty much everything that Team Bliss have that is AoE hit everybody that was there. Voice comes through, tries to find himself a couple of kills and does ultimately get some. But in the face of this Echo, with no cooldowns up, he has no way out.
And it's not going to calm down anytime soon, Rusty. Out of one plane into another. And if you're playing on mid lane, you're just not safe.
Same thing as last game, right? I'm getting strong deja vu feelings of Kanga not recognizing where their limits are, not recognizing where the line of scrimmage exists. Hook comes out just wide, aiming for a juke perhaps.
Sure.
Doesn't quite find it. Such is the mining game. The Blitzcrank for Daystar.
Just one more. He's just so strong, so tanky, so elusive, with the ability to shift right back out of harm's way. 6-0 on the Echo.
The hunt begins.
And the hook is there. As soon as the hook lands, look at all the skill shots that come towards that one target. They are a hive mind, Bliss. They might share a single brain cell in the bot lane, but together, impenetrable. Shinky, not again! Shinky looking like Neon Gragas right now. It's not a pretty sight, I'll tell you that much. But either way, they're going to continue to make things happen. Limas has been absolutely given a headache. Shoved away by the Emperor himself. There is Fido sitting on the double and certainly giving Kanga fans something to shout about.
Getting a couple of kills where they're absolutely necessary. 3 members of Team Bliss will fall. Lived will take the Rift Herald as he's in the fight of his life, just 1v1ing the objectives. But at a certain point, someone's got to do it. So Lived is going to get it done. They still got the turret in mid lane as well. They still got the inner turret in mid lane. I'm really hoping that this replay, if we get one, starts after the Grag Assault, because I don't think I've ever audibly responded so loudly to something that misses so bad. That really got me. Oh no! I have to watch it. Ooh.
In slow-mo.
He has Grag Assaulted another multiverse timeline. He hasn't actually found it on this rift. It's a different rift where that connects. Limas plays this out pretty nicely to get the kill. Almost actually gets himself out of the Emperor's Divide damage there as well. Kites quite nicely. But Fido ultimately does lock that one down.
Just like Bliss, they're going to lock down another objective. Right on time, they go straight towards Dragon number 2. And are going to make very light work of it. So, easy as you like. It is that of the Hextech Soul to play for. Personally, my favorite, one of the bunch of them.
And you know what I will say here as well is Banshee's Veil, supremely good decision from Fido. Blitzcrank hooks, Sejuani ultimates, Echo W as well potentially. The only real avenues that they have to get in are through those crowd control abilities that can be thrown at range, and Banshee's Veil is going to stop that one. Now, admittedly, there is a Kai'Sa that can throw Ws, right? Echo might be able to hit you with a Q. They've got some things to throw out here and there, but I think Banshee's Veil stocks real high as Jake puts on the fancy footwork and shows he knows how Blitzcrank works.
Yeah, he's played this game long enough.
He's worked those angles.
I'm a support player, can't trick me. And it does become the battle the Static Shiv uses once again. But Kanga are split apart. They hook him out right as they need it. Out goes the hostile takeover, but too little too late. It's only a very scary Blitzcrank with no one to hit.
All I'm saying is 4 seconds till the hook's up again, and you know they're going to go on a hunt.
It does give me very strong squad vibes right now, as Shinky certainly does disengage away from that hunt. And on towards the Baron, right on cue.
Yeah, straight through an abundance of wards. I don't think they're particularly afraid of the vision. Can Kanga contest this one? Jungler dead, so no smite. Hextech Rift does get you there fast, but like you're seeing, while Fido does have that teleport, it seems like they're going to put most of their efforts, as per game number 1, to the split push effort.
Hard to quantify the differences between game 1 and 2 right now. It does really feel like we are different drafts, but same outcome. Getting ever closer to another 10k lead. So let's see where all that gold is right now. At the very top of the charts is Limas, opting for the more traditional AD variant of the Kai'Sa. Doesn't need to go for more AP, has enough of that already through the very fed Echo Daystar.
The Echo Daystar.
It's been a day, hasn't it?
Oh, it has been a day. You know, there's this part of me, it's the support brain in me. I'm a broken man. But I really want Akio to be the MVP just because of the energy. It's the vibes. Like, he's the MVP for vibes. Most vibing player.
Keeping you going through this one. You're just waiting. Go on, mate.
Like, you know he just wants to throw hooks at all times. He's been doing it off cooldown. Always hunting for those angles. Is he the most valuable? Well, there is a 7-0 mid laner. Why not's been playing out of his mind this series as well. Oh, that could have been a big stun.
But let's just gloss over that really quickly and appreciate Blitzcrank.
But the most vibing player, Akia, has my vote.
Observers are vibing too. We're vibing.
So this is Runeterra.
Runeterra.
Runeterra is an area,
That's a cool area.
that contains Summoner's Rift.
I would live there.
Valleys, mountains,
Valleys, sunshine.
everything your heart desires. Can be yours.
They had enough of the vibes of the Blitzcrank. Look at the real vibes. The landscape. Touch grass, people. Out we go. As Jake tries to zone them back, and Bliss, rightfully so, just waddle out of that one. Not a care in the world right now as they do set themselves up in that 4-1 split.
Oh, he's angry.
And Akia just continues to say, when's that hook coming? You don't know.
They're pressuring multiple lanes here at once as well. You know, like it's not a 3-lane approach from Bliss just yet with the Baron buff. It does feel like Kanga have been staving off this push decently well, but hunting again.
Yeah, Daystar
Always
just trying to
hunting.
put the pressure on, isn't he? He's just looking to try and layer it down with the Cannon Winion arriving and inspired by the Baron, ready to say that is enough to open up the base. Can we lock down a target? That is the next question right now. Exposed inhibitor. Glacier Prison gonna not hit the mark. It's not really gonna matter too much, honestly.
Bottom pushed as well. Tower about to fall down in this bottom lane. Kanga put an extra bit of effort towards holding mid. Azir turret comes down as well to try and buy some time on that inhibitor, but the cost is really high elsewhere.
It really is. Two-man parallel convergence. They're stunned, but they aren't taken down. And the Baron is about to be removed in 5 seconds now. But the damage is already there. One inhibitor taken, a second exposed. That's seemingly now the next one on the chopping block. And Kanga really stuck inside their base now.
Nah, Liv, you're going to get cancelled if you go for that one. Arkia plays a bit of zone defense, keeps him safe. They'll work out their strats. They've got 10 seconds until the Drake spawns. It is only the third of the game for them, third in total. So it's not going to be a Hextech Soul. But still very comfortable in this game. You know, 23 minutes, 24 minutes. It's very much an impossible task to cover this amount of gold difference. And so essentially securing themselves the Soul with the third one secure.
It's been an interesting day, hasn't it? With the stakes being the same for both series, and really us asking the question as to how strong are our first seeds and how much fight do our 7th seeds really have in it to try and find a way to scrape into the playoffs. If you walk away with this one, you say,
yeah,
a few new champions have been showcased, a few new ideas.
And it's always hard to compare the matches because they both so far have won very handedly.
Yeah.
I think we looked at the Chiefs and said a couple of mistakes here and there, but for Team Bliss, they've been much more risk-averse in game number 1. This time, they are just sending it.
They are certainly sending it, and Arkia is the one that looks to try and make it happen as he's forced to flash away. Does survive, most notably, condemn against the wall, make an ultimate as well. Why not? Stunned for a million years, and will finally fall on down. Handshake again, lived in trouble. That pops the Sterix. That could be enough to get the kill, and it certainly will be. Bring them back, takedown free, and everybody from Kanga is still alive.
And they just leave the door open a little bit, right? The win condition, the door's been left ajar. Voiced with his Static Shiv Trinity Force Vayne. Daystar's turn to fight here as well. Seems like he's just putting down some damage. Is ultimately going to go. It does ult.
Oh, he just jumps back in.
Oh, he's
goes
got
gold
the
in,
stopwatch.
and he's just absolutely played, and Bailout will not find you any kind of success. He says, hey, this is the reason why people think I'm the best.
Daystar clean with it. Renata very good with the Azir for the DPS output, but we have a look at how this starts. They handshake Arkia. One hook seems to be greater than the other. And then really, why not? We spoke about this in draft, but Vayne's so adept at taking out these health stacking tanks. Voice definitely a duelist, but doesn't go on the Blade of the Ruined King. It's not the Guinzu's build, right? He has gone Static Shiv and Trinity Force. So it's much more about that single target. Flat damage, not looking for on-hit. Still gets 2. Very important to it, that I might add. And is working towards that Blade of the Ruined King style item now.
Certainly is. It's a nice acquisition. And they'll certainly need a few more of those to work their way back into this game. Because you've still got to look at the fact that it's an 8-0 Echo. It's absolutely terrifying. Doesn't matter if there's multiple members in the area. It will still just chrono break on your head and take you down. and say what you're going to do about it. And a second Baron on spawn. Taken away as easy as you like.
Oh, they're coming.
And they're out for blood again.
Hey, got him.
Max range, they found Shinky. Can he body slam across the wall? Self-casted the ultimate, trying to disengage away. The hostile takeover, not going to hit a single member. Splits them apart like the sea and Moses, but now can they find anything more? Lift is the one to get Shinky, the original target. But Kanga aren't able to find any scraps after.
They just stand on top of Shinky. They give him no space, no freedom to use that body slam over a wall, and ultimately does go down. Team Bliss now with the Baron buff, looking for Jake.
But they certainly are. Jake being a bit of a problem in this game, and is going to get taken down for kill number 9. Who can stop them is the question. They've just got too much power.
Both dashing in the direction that the hook predicted, but just a little bit short there on the skill shot, but the inhibitor sure to follow afterwards. Super's crashing in bottom as well, requires the attention of Fighter at the very least to clear those out. And I'm not sure if an Emperor's Divide is going to do enough to win a fight here. Liv looking angry with the Dominus on.
He certainly is. Triple inhibitors taken away right now. 30 seconds and they're respawning. The Bliss are really having a little bit of fun right now, inspiring these minions to get the job done for them. That's one next turret removed, a second in their sights, coming at them from every single angle. There is the Emperor's Divide, not in range of the Fountain to take down Echo. Out goes the Sun Disc, up comes the second turret, out goes the base defense. It's that last-ditch effort as they knock back the Renekton, and he just slices away.
Looks like they might just disengage. Seems like they are being dissuaded. Hook is available now, though, if they want to throw that one out and turn and burn. I do think that leaving your base, if you're Kanga, is way too far. They hold their Nexus. Albeit with one turret that's less than half HP, they hold that Nexus. And it's not all 3 inhibitors. It is only the one that gets taken out in that push, and the second one has just spawned. So it's not double supers. The game continues. 10,000 gold difference, though. At what point do we say that an Azir and a Vayne can make up for that lost gold? I'm not sure we're going to get there in time, but look, if there's one piece of hope that you're going to hold on to here, it is the fact that Fido and Voice are farming, and they've been given an absolute funnel of minions to farm from with those inhibitors.
Well, another clean game when it comes to the objectives. All the Heralds, all the Dragons, all the Barons too. All the possibilities to close this one out on this next push.
Fido no flash does make things a little bit more difficult. Graves uses his ult to put down about 300 damage onto them.
Yeah, basically tickled him, didn't it?
Inhibitor number 2 falls. Number 3 being threatened in mid, most likely going to go as well. Kanga are the ones that are pressured now. Their engage doesn't really exist, though. They're looking at a Gragas flash ultimate, maybe, but he's the one locked down.
Glacial Prison into a Blitzcrank hook. Shinky in trouble, drops the ult and dies at the same time. Hostile takeover knocks out the entire team. The Berserk was huge. Wasn't enough to get any kills, yo. There we go, shove it back. As Fido finds himself one, he gets taken down to give Daystar that 10-0 perfect scoreline. There is the ace, there is the closeout to the perfect 2-0 in this series, and that is Bliss joining Chiefs for a battle in the top 2 seed.
And day 2 of our Super Week does just see 2-0 victories from our first place teams. Why not moving all the close out of the way? He's struggling. I'll let him set up, let him set up. Let him set up, he's got no space.
Wait guys, quickly. Keep the camera on me.
He got there. Almost fell backwards there, I think, in the last second. Realized that his merch store behind him is a little bit impeding for any kind of dance breaks. But hey, look, Bliss, cleaner team on the day, cleaner team in the series, still looking like our top dogs next to the Chiefs, and very exciting to know that they are versing the Chiefs in week 6.
Absolutely.
And potentially could be an absolute barn burner of a best of 2 between them both.
It's the perfect wrap-up to what has been a really exciting split for me, really. The fact that it will be Chiefs and Bliss going toe-to-toe in such commanding performances today to wrap it up like that.
And don't forget, with the way the bracket works, when we get to our playoffs, we'll move into a double elimination bracket, which means the top 4 teams have 2 chances, which means if they get eliminated, they may be knocked down and they can fight again. So if Bliss and Chiefs make it to the end of their top part of the bracket and one drops down, then we have a chance to see them play again in the finals. So if we get treated well enough, then maybe we get to see 3 games of Chiefs and Bliss coming up.
Frankly, we haven't seen enough.
We haven't seen enough.
Chiefs and Bliss this year. We need more.
It's important to state on top of that as well, we both just saw Ground Zero and Kanga go down in the games that they had to win. And this means they have to beat the opponent they're coming up on next week or else they're gone. They have to win, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not a situation I would like to be in if I were either of those two teams. A tough matchup nonetheless, but focusing back on this game, it really felt like Team Bliss were just having a bit of fun with it. Daystar in particular looking like he's just playing a game of solo queue with his Echo pick that he busted out. I know you wanted to talk about the draft picks, and we had a lot of unique picks coming out here, particularly towards that bot lane, and Echo, to me, really standing out from Daystar.
Vayne was a big cook as well. I mean, we were talking how we saw it in the LPL with the static shiv with confirmed minion dematerializer to clear the back lines, but Echo was the biggest question mark for me. I mean, you said we haven't seen him in so long. Did anything kind of prompt this pick, or was this more free flow? Boys, we got this, let's do it.
I think he just kind of wanted to play Echo, if I'm going to be honest with you. Like, it's hard to give a rhyme or reason to sometimes the champions that Daystar picks. He has an absolute ocean of champions that he wants to play. The fact that he can play every champion to such a high level, I think, is really impressive. But definitely this is one of those games where he was like, Azir's first picked. This is a matchup that I can cheese with my Hail of Blades static shiv build, and absolutely sent it. But also, I think that the main precursor to that is he had a Sejuani in the jungle role, right? So Sejuani jungle, they have a Renekton and an Echo, and these Hail of Blades Echo auto attacks with the Sedge passive is a dangerous 2v2.
It's really interesting you touch on this, how the Sejuani worked with the Echo, because Max, you were touching on that as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So to me, this was a tough game for Kanga rather, in the side lanes. Both were losing individually. One, because, you know, Shinky was just getting handled up there in the top lane, and then two, because Arkia was finding fantastic hooks in the bot lane. But what Bliss did really well this game was breaking Echo and Daystar out of this really tough early game, right? Azir into Echo, you're able to bully him, you're able to push him off the couple first waves, which we saw happen. But then it was Why Not coming in this edge one and getting those 2v2 kills onto Mayfarn, and then suddenly Echo isn't really too worried about the lane because he's got the kills to back it up.
Well, we'll be able to talk directly with... Look, we may have talked to him yesterday, but it's a special day for Limas today. So we're going to go to talk to him.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Woo! It must be so nice to have friends that tweet out your birthday. I heard on Why Not that you're turning, what is it, 34 today?
Yeah, 35 actually. It's a big one for me.
Oldest player in esports worldwide.
It's a big achievement, man. How does it feel?
It feels good, man. It feels amazing, but at the same time, I feel like it's time for me to start a family and stuff, you know, not just stop.
Taking care of business.
Settle down.
I completely understand. Look, I wanted to ask you about today's game. So, you know, obviously you guys coming in heavy favorites, expected to take the 2-0, but when you're coming into games like this, what is your main focus? Is it to just try something new, to bring out some experimental picks, or are you just getting the win, however?
Well, first and foremost, we try not to disrespect our opponents. I think, like, every team, whether if they seem weak or not, can still pull off some plays and, like, potentially win the game, because at the end of the day, like, if a few skirmishes go wrong in League, then you can just, like, easily, like, lose the game. So we try and focus and treat the enemy with respect and play properly. But at the same time, like, we'd like to diversify our play style a little bit in our champion picks and try out new stuff so we can, you know, have a stronger, more broad play style.
Speaking of respecting your opponents, you're coming up against the Chiefs. We heard earlier that from Babip that you guys are basically the only two teams really in this league. How are you feeling heading into this matchup?
I wouldn't say that we're the only two teams in the league, because there are 8 teams in the league. So, but I think, yeah, I mean, Chiefs. I think they are the strongest team in the league besides us. So, you know, it's going to be an exciting matchup. Also, like when we scrim versus the Chiefs, like there's always some drama, like going back and forth. So, yeah, it might be a spicy game.
Excited to see it.
Now, I want to hear a little bit more about your birthday. Again, it's a very special day. I want to hear, what is the worst birthday present you've ever gotten?
Listen, I'm going to be honest, okay? I've only gotten one birthday present in my entire life.
Seriously?
And that was like, yeah, like, I don't celebrate birthdays. Like, fun fact, I didn't even know that it was my birthday until someone said happy birthday to me. Like, I just completely forgot about it.
Well, at least you appreciated the one birthday present you got. What was it?
It was, I think it was like a mouse pad and a headset or something from my friend.
Oh, that's kind of sweet.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Hey, happy birthday, man. Hey, you heard it from us, all right?
Thanks, man. It means a lot.
All right, well, you got Chiefs up next, so make sure you get a good sleep, get a good rest, and you got next week to go. Good luck, man.
All right, thanks, guys. See you same time next week for the interview. Yeah.
Yep. As
I
always.
do my best to
Alright.
be here, man.
All right, see ya.
Truly just full of banger lines.
There are
indeed.
8 teams.
Yeah, it's not, I wouldn't
Truly
say
eight
it's a
There are-
two-team league.
There are 8 teams in the league.
It can't be a two-team league. There's 8.
Oh, what a bad league that would be.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
What are we doing?
You're like, cool, mate.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that
Oh,
comprehension, eh?
sick.
That's awesome.
It's quite funny.
Well, have you guys got like birthday present preferences, or do you have any like really bad birthday presents that you remember?
No.
I gave my mate a stick of celery once, and he just looked at me like we were 11, and
Oh,
he looked at me and he went, "Come on, mate." And then I pulled out a drawing that he still has framed in his bedroom. So, not bad, hey?
For my 18th, my friends got me a big bag of rice because I'm like really into my gym phase at the moment. They're like,
Oh yeah.
here's your rice. Because the only thing I ever cooked was chicken and rice, and they got me a massive thing of rice.
yeah, I had a friend, their in-game name was Ducky, and our friend just bought them like a loaf of bread, like, happy birthday, bro. And they were just like, what? Just
a loaf?
Yeah, just like, there you go, bro. Just like fed it to them like a... it's a whole bed.
That's good. It's the
good.
thought, like
It
that
was
means
funny.
more than
You know you
anything.
shouldn't feed ducks bread.
I know, it's really bad for them.
There's no nutrition
Really
in bread
bad
to
for them.
feed ducks.
What do you
feed them?
dogs?
Yeah, just in case.
Like whey
so-
protein? Like you just shake it up. Here you go, buddy. Shake. Yeah.
I don't actually know what the best thing to feed ducks is. I would
Oh.
imagine like trail mix or something.
Bird
That's more
feed or something,
nutritious.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got our day MVP as well for today. Is it going to be Daystar in the mid lane dominating with the Echo?
I would say so. Yeah.
Arkia for vibes.
For vibes!
Arkia
That's
for
it.
vibes, yeah.
Probably Daystar though.
The vibes win out, or does Echo win out? Let's find out.
Probably Daystar.
It will be Daystar.
Probably Daystar.
Oh
my god, hello.
Lee missed
Happy
the birthday.
It's the 1700 gold cash in gamer.
That's
35-year-old.
Lee missed for interview. That's why you got MVP.
By the way, it's Lemus's birthday.
Thank you,
Has
production.
that always been there?
No, that just changed the moment they put it up. I think he's MVP for his birthday.
Yeah.
Thanks, chat.
Maybe chat knew. We didn't know.
Yeah.
You guys knew. I didn't know. Yeah. Maybe chat was aware as well.
Probably did. Bit of an agenda there behind the MVP, but well deserved. Yeah, definitely got a nice present of a 1700 gold cash in. I don't know why that was
That's
so
a lot of
hard to
money.
say.
Well, I'd like to actually ask an intelligent question here. As Bliss is moving on to face up against Chiefs
Yep.
in the final competition of the regular season, it doesn't really matter how it goes because the first and second seed are just split up in the top of the bracket, but there's kind of a bit of respect, a bit of ego coming in. For these two teams right now, we've had a chance to see them play out through this entire split, yet to be against each other. How do you think these guys match up against each other right now?
It's actually really tough to say, and I don't really know because it's so hard to base teams' performances off how they played against other teams, if that makes sense, right? The only time you are going to know is through a head-to-head comparison. That being said, I actually do think, I'm going to stand by what I said yesterday, I still think Bliss seem like the best team in the league just because they all know their roles and they all execute them so well, and I feel like they're more secure in that than the Chiefs are.
Well, maybe. We do have the player of the day prepped up right now. This will help us spread out our decision, okay? What do we think it is?
The
Come on.
pentakill.
Come on, we all know what it is.
It's the
Come
pentakill.
on.
It could be.
Nah, it will be, mate. Come on.
Okay. Is it the pentakill? What else was it going to be? Come on.
This is like the easiest pentakill of Razor's life, to be honest. Everyone's just running at him and he's just clicking back, then A-clicking a little bit, using his E a couple times, ults forwards, gets the kill. I wish we had Jews back on the cast so we like absolutely go crazy with it.
Yes.
Maybe next time we get a pentakill, I'll have to jump in and do that. But yeah, I mean, really nice pentakill to close out what was just an easy game and an easy series for the Chiefs.
I just always remember the Jews clips and be like, but look at Puma. And then he'd be like, I could see a halo.
Michael Dublé!
That's
Michael Dublé!
That's it. Oh, absolutely missed Jews. But either way, I mean, what a pentakill, mate. What a way to get it done, just to sort of say, yep, game one done and dusted. Easy as you like it. So,
And you mentioned it, we've been seeing like way more pentakills.
one a week.
One a week. is
We
the
had to wait
statistic.
like 12 months, if not
Yep.
more. And now it's just one a week.
So good things come to those who wait.
Are we getting too aggressive, or is it kind of just happening? Like, pentakill, cool. There's no good reason behind it.
I don't know. Do you need a reason for pentakills to
No.
start existing? It's
To
just
get
magic.
3 in such a short period of
Yeah,
time,
we're
maybe.
just making magic, you know?
Yeah.
Make magic.
Hocus pocus. Let's see the standings, and let me focus.
Ooh.
Team Bliss and the Chiefs. Look at that!
Oh wow, really?
That's a big bracket on the side that says who made it to playoffs, Max.
Thanks, Oscar, for
That's
clarifying
crazy, man.
that. Okay, so
Do you know there's 8 teams here?
I thought there were only 2 teams in the league.
Nuts.
okay, so we have a 4 teams already locked in the playoffs here. Thanks, guys. As we redraw our attention to the standings,
Get
but
me
like
out.
you said earlier in the day, it is really the bottom of the standings that are the hardest here. I know Kanga comes up against Pentanet in their final game to determine that last slot and Ground Zero as well sitting on 2 points. So nothing much changed for those teams, unfortunately, towards the bottom of the standings.
So in just a moment as well, we'll be able to see how the matches tomorrow are going to affect the standings. But Vertex and Pentanet are going to be playing up against each other, which is going to lead to a really big divide, because whoever loses between Vertex and Pentanet, or even if they draw, we could find ourselves in, what is it, a 4-way tie?
That'd be hilarious.
That's pretty crazy. Maybe not a 4-way tie. Either way, there could be tiebreakers for both Ground Zero and Kanga Esports if they manage to win their next games.
What I will say, though, Oscar, is how crazy would it be if Vertex, the team that I was like, oh, I'm not too sure about the expectations, put them in last place. If they were to come in and say first split, get themselves into playoffs, it'd be such a rise to glory. It'd be awesome.
And the best thing about Vertex, too, is so many of the players I've personally been able to watch through Amateur, cast them. So I got this kind of like special little personal connection to them. I've done my silly interviews in front of like 30 people, and to see these guys come up on the big stage is really special. And they will be playing tomorrow as well. If we take a look at what's coming up tomorrow, it is Vertex versus Pentanet and Mammoth versus Dire Wolves, which actually I think is a really fun match to watch from both of them, especially Mammoth and Dire Wolves, which kind of have been contesting that 3rd and 4th.
Exactly, because the seeding isn't confirmed yet, right? Like, we just know they're in playoffs, still fighting for that top 4 position. So match 2 tomorrow is a prolific match, right? It's super important to get that top 4 spot.
And I don't know, which one do you guys think is going to be more exciting? Is it the Vertex versus Pentanet to lock it down, or is it Mammoth versus Dire Wolves to try and break into top 4?
I think they're actually both like really, really good games. Vertex PGG for the sake of if Vertex actually show up and, you know, players like Thomas, you know, come into the form they have shown in recent weeks, I think this actually could be an interesting game as opposed to just a complete blowout. And then Mammoth Dire Wolves, my pick for like the 3rd and 4th best teams in the league going up against each other, and really is that tier below Chiefs and Bliss, but still vying for playoffs contention.
Okay, well, our show is just about to come to an end. I'd like to ask you all to give us a nugget of wisdom for today before we finish up. Starting with you, Max.
What on earth?
You can't just drop me. You can't just
no, like just about the game.
of
I was
wisdom.
just trying to say, like, give us final thoughts in a funny way, just like
a nugget of wisdom
about League. Okay, sorry guys.
Ban Kaiser.
You can tell
On
how
red
old a
side.
tree is by the amount of rings.
I feel so much wiser. Thank you, Rusty. Skimmy.
A river does not cut through a rock because of its power, but because of its persistence.
Bars.
Next.
Yes, but any actual final thoughts you'd like to finish us off with?
I
Anything to
said
point out?
Ban Kaiser.
Oh, that's it?
On red.
If you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the lottery. There you go, mate.
Thanks, Aesop.
That'll do us.
And I remember a tale that my mother told me when I was younger.
Oh, no.
And it was very cautionary to me. I was always jumping on the bed, and if you're planning on doing this tonight, listen closely. There were 5 cheeky monkeys jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more monkeys jumping on the bed. And from that day, I never jumped on the bed again.
Thanks,
Stay
Wiggles.
safe. I love you all. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Break the base here.
Still good what they came for. They've managed to find that mid inhibitor as a result. Can they disengage away for 3 is the question. Cyclone knocking up the entire team. And Bev survives. Raze continues. There's the triple kill. This is why he's going crazy. There's the quad. And can we get a pentakill? Unbelievable. Ace upon ace into perfect gameplay. Penta's on the weekly here in the LCO. I don't know losing to the game itself right now. Tron is going to be whittled down. He's not doing anything. He turns and burns. He looks for Aladoric, instantly flashing into the red buff pit. He might be able to get Aladoric, but is that who you want? He's still alive. In goes Bulldog. Madness on to 2. He's going to fall on down. He survives for as long as he can. But it's all coming up Chiefs right now. All going the way of the blue team. As they take down 4, they don't lose anyone. Tron tries to snipe something, but he couldn't even get the support. Oh, yeah, this collapse is devastating right now. So stuck, nowhere to go, nowhere to run. Mayfan locked in place. There's no one low enough to get a kill. They're toying with him. They make sure Lemus gets the kill. The fight continues though, despite them looking to try and defend their base. We're now getting juked by the observers as to which fight is more important. Out goes the Wish, keep them topped up and healthy. Deny the reset, deny Mayfan. He's already hit the ultimate, he cannot find the kill. Voice.
Ultimate maybe, but is the one locked down.
Glacial Prison into a Blitzcrank Cook. Shinky in trouble, drops the ult and dies at the same time. Hostile takeover knocks out the entire team. The Berserk was huge. Wasn't enough to get any kills, Joe. There we go, shove it back. As Fido finds himself one. He gets taken